Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 10 picks against the spread, super locks, free money, and Cust Corner. Reminder to all of you out there, please help out the show by smashing the like button to the episode, sub to Mayo Media Network, help us time code the best of clips down in the comment section, and go to the Hammer HQ on YouTube to find more Pat, Jeff, and Tim doing our futures portfolio. It's underneath the Forward Progress channel. They have like 6 channels up there for all of your betting needs. That is the football channel. I don't think last week's was uploaded for some reason. Anyway, you get more of me, Cam, and Rob up there as well. Rate and review the podcast while you're here playing the Listeners League. That is now open, 3,000 spots. Let's fill it. Well, it's like 2,997 because I am taking 3 of them. So full reign for you guys out there. And what else we got? RunTheSims.com/Mayo to get yourself 10% off. Jeff Feinberg, you're back. Feeling good, I think. Big win against the Falcons.
Yeah, I was here last week feeling feeling for 5-3, feel kind of hopeless, but you never know. Keep on keeping on, I guess. Tim is in his glory. I am still I don't have Tim's confidence, no. But maybe the doom and gloom attitude that Tim brought, like I could use one of those wins. So maybe I should do that, and then I can get like the full flip, and then we can see that in the future. But yeah, no, I'm here.
Yeah, the Chargers plodding their way. I had to take Monday off because I had a wicked stomach flu. Jeff, does this just happen when your kids are from like ages 2 to 6 that I'm just going to get sick every 3 weeks in the wintertime?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
There's a lot. I haven't felt good in a while, and the only week we actually felt good was in Florida. I got a little my 3-year-old, she's tiny. Like she's tiny for her age. She's like in the 99th percentile of tiny. She was sick before we left. She gets back into the cold and into the school, and she's sick again. So I don't know. It's nonstop. And I'm not healthy ever, so maybe that doesn't help.
Yeah, usually I'm doing pretty well, but this so far, like since autumn started, it's been all downhill for Pat. So hopefully it's all behind me. Hopefully I didn't give it to Paul or Cust or whoever, but you're feeling bad about your 5-3 team, unlike a certain person who now thinks that the Jets are going to win every game the rest of the season. It is Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That is not my name.
But you agree with the statement I made.
Look, they can win every single one of them. Every game is winnable. We're not going to be a big underdog in any of those games other than maybe at Buffalo. Maybe. I'm liking our chances. Looking at the schedule, particularly as it gets late in the year, Week 16, Thursday Night Football against Jacksonville. Week 16, we're at Seattle, and there is a terrible Sunday night game. It's almost a certainty we're going to be the Sunday night game in Week 17. So then we have Jacksonville, Seattle, and Miami to wrap things up. But so things are really coming down to the crunch. I could have used a New Orleans win last night. Now I'm to the point now. We're now into Week 10. I'm into the point where I need to cheer against certain AFC teams for seeding purposes. But like we're a half game back of the division. We've beaten Buffalo and Miami. We seem to have sorted things. After every loss, we bounce back with a big win. I'm feeling pretty positive. We have beaten. We've been a huge underdog in so many games this year and won those games outright. We've been underdogs in every single game we have played, and we are 6-3. That has got to be probably an NFL record because we're going to be underdogs next week at Foxborough, and we'll be underdogs. Maybe we might be favored against Chicago. So like, it's just ridiculous. We get no respect. They flex in what would have been a good Chargers-Chiefs game in 2 weeks if everyone in San Diego played, but they don't play. So it's going to be a route for the Chiefs.
They also don't play in San Diego.
Or whatever. And so then I have to sit here and watch my team play at 2:00 again. Instead of getting the respect it deserves by getting a primetime. When you haven't got the Jets or Giants in a single primetime game other than a Thursday game the rest of the year. I'm a little annoyed by that, but I'm very excited. This team is on the right track. And the sky is the limit.
Jeff, I was trying to explain to Cust before the show that I think when given the choice, and maybe it was protected by CBS for all we know, that they want to keep that Jets-Patriots game because it's such a good game that anytime that you have a chance to flex Mahomes into primetime, you're probably going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's probably a potpourri of reasons for the decision. I am not happy. I saw that decision, and my first instinct wasn't just why, but it was like a very emphatic Nancy Kerrigan, why? Why? I mean, you think I want to play Sunday Night Football in 2 straight Sundays versus real Super Bowl contenders with 50% of my team? Oh, I'm sure that'll go great. I enjoy Tim being upset about it. That's really the one positive. Looking deeper into it, it does seem like the Patriots have a Thursday game the following week, so that's probably the main reason why that game maybe didn't get flexed or didn't really ever have a possibility of getting flexed, is that the Patriots play Thursday, and I don't think they want you.
Okay, but then put me at 5:00 then. Flex me to 5:00 and put the Bengals Steelers game that was supposed to be the primetime game. Put that at 2.
Listen, I don't
America's
know,
game of the week. What are you doing to me?
For a preeminent American Football Conference franchise, Park Avenue, I don't know, Tim. You'd think maybe there would be more respect shown towards the Jets versus this.
Exactly.
I don't know, like, maybe the Sunday night producers just like any opportunity to just stay out west. I don't really know.
Well, they're
Al
already
Michaels
thieving
doesn't call
already
the shots anymore, though.
They're
This would have
already
been an Al
thieving-
Michaels thing.
They're already thieving our ideas about Derrick Henry and whether people can tackle them on Sunday Night Football. Maybe they're trying to troll me. Maybe this is an attempt to troll me.
I'm happy for you.
And your main character, that's a pretty big main character. Trying to think about it that way. They're now flexing in games just specifically to get to you. Jeff, I also threw out to him that there's been a lot of bad primetime games so far this season that maybe we want to avoid. Mac Jones and Zach Wilson in a featured spot.
It's going to be a 10-point spread in that game.
This is going to be the second Mahomes Herbert primetime game, and they're probably going to play on primetime again next week, and I'm thrilled for Tim. I watched that comeback, and as someone who on that Hammer Future show, I wish it got uploaded because I said take the Jets over their 7.5 last week, and a lot of the comments were why not wait till they play this game? And like, yeah, I think that's built into the line, but you can't resist any. Shouldn't say I didn't. Anyhow, I'm happy I was bullish on the Jets last week, as you were also. Tim, Pat, maybe that had to do with Tim's craziness, but I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for the Jets. I'm happy for the Dolphins. It seems like the AFC East is what the AFC West was supposed to be. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, both of them. And if Josh Allen is actually hurt, maybe you should consider betting the Dolphins at plus 550 and the Jets at like plus whatever their even bigger number is to win that division, and just try to corner that market entirely if Josh Allen's actually injured.
I want that buy so badly. I can taste
you
it.
Are so
right
whatever.
there. A half game out of the buy. And if the Bills and Chiefs lose this week, the buy is mine at the end of Sunday night.
See, you're doing it wrong again. And we spoke about this when you were really happy.
I want the playoff machine. I need the playoff machine now, Jeff.
No, wanting the playoffs, expecting the playoffs now, I think is fair. But if you set your aspiration, like you've got to just sort of level off where I think your aspiration should be. I don't think you should be worried about a bye. That's my opinion.
But I need it.
I also would like to just quickly say, I think the Justin Herbert slander is beyond preposterous. I don't know why it exists. I don't know where it comes from. He's literally the only reason the team has a pulse. Put it this way. If you think this is Justin Herbert playing badly like this, then how do I put this? Like, if this is Justin Herbert's floor, he's freaking incredible. I guess we can put it at that. Playing banged up, playing without a lot of pieces. For some reason, though, he's only in his third year, and he has developed into having a game style that's of like a wily 10-year veteran. I would like them to unleash him more, but anyone who watches the games, the Charger games in their entirety, no one thinks that any part of this should involve slandering Justin Herbert. But I guess slandering Justin Herbert when he's, just not the like fourth best quarterback in the league and plays like the ninth best quarterback in the league is worthy of slandering. But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous if you ask me.
At DraftKings Sportsbook at the moment, Justin Herbert 50-1 to win the MVP. Tua 8-1.
That is in and of itself. The stats, I guess, don't lie. I don't know what that like. Where is Justin Herbert on the tout board of players? Like fifth, seventh,
ninth.
Like what is that?
There's the big three. Then there's Tua and Lamar. Then it's Burrow, Geno, and then it's Cousins and Herbert.
Okay. So he's like the eighth name on the list, and
Yes.
that is him being like really bad and slandered.
Who are you hearing that's slandering Herbert, by the way? Are you making these? Are you pulling a Tim and making up straw men to fight with?
No, I'm not making it up at all. It happens every day. Even Orlovsky's at it. He should be calling plays in Indy by the end of the show, I think.
Yeah, we'll have Tim as Jets offensive coordinator soon enough with the way things are going.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's real.
What did he say?
Real.
What did he say about Herbert that makes him awful?
It's real. No, but it's constant. Like the guy, put it this way, and if you want to make it about Tua, like Tua's floor when it was happening was incredibly low. Like it was scary bad. This is Herbert playing, I guess, poorly in some people's eyes, then that is fantastic. I don't know what else.
Like, are people actually criticizing Herbert, or is it that Herbert was put up on this pedestal? It's like, well, it's him and Mahomes and Josh Allen. Those are the three moving forward, and he's not playing as well as those guys. So in your mind, it's like, well, everyone hates him now. He's trash. And is anyone actually saying
No.
that?
The comparison is not to those players. But I don't know how you can like watch the games and think anything is his fault. That's all. That's like crazy to me. That's crazy. He's the only reason that the team has a pulse. Truly.
Well, that and the kicker that you carried off the field for a change after mocking our team.
Well, they
carrying a
lifted him
kicker
up.
off the
They
field.
didn't carry him off no field.
They carried him off the field.
It might be the third one, Tim. It's the third kicker a coach is giving a game ball to. Yeah. Anyhow.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Justin Herbert doesn't even deserve to be in that conversation. Like, why would he still even be there? Only to say that if something miraculous happens and the team's record ends up being way better than it should be, he'll get so much credit for carrying nobodies across like a line. Like, I don't even know why he's in that conversation, even listed there. That you could argue that's flattering.
That's what I was getting to. Yeah, I think that it is flattering for him. That I don't think that people are as down and saying Herbert's as bad as maybe you're perceiving it to be.
Well, the carrier pigeons send me every morsel of the internet.
Who are, like, besides, I still don't know what Orlovsky said about Justin Herbert, but, like, is it just, like, random people on Twitter who are getting mad?
No, I don't know. I don't know who. Yeah, I guess it's a lot. It's low hanging fruit to pick on the guy, but I don't understand any of it.
All right. Well, let's recap last week. I had my best week of the year, 10-2-1 ATS, bringing me into the lead for the season after back-to-back 10-win weeks. My gambling accounts really benefited from last week. They really needed that shot in the arm to keep me going for the rest of the year. Back up to 70-64. Jeff was 6-6-1, 66-68, which brings him into a tie with Tim, who went 3-9-1 ATS, has fallen out of the lead, is now in a tie for second, one game ahead of the Coin, who went 8-4-1, 65-69. After losing his two first super locks of the season, Jeff has now reeled off 7 in a row, and he leads at 7-2 as a super lock record. We all hit last week, so myself and Tim are both 6-3. And as Tim, I don't know if you mentioned on the show or just before we came on, that the Rams last second let up that touchdown to Kate Otten, which ruined your free money line parlay. So you dropped to 1-8 for the year and 16-111 overall. You know, if you lose both ends of your Thanksgiving Pilgrim parlays, that I believe you will be 16-116.
I could see it, but you know what? I've had a lot of bad beats this year. I've had a lot of free money to come down to the wire and something stupid.
I don't think that you can call a 4-game money line parlay, anything involved with it, a bad beat. It's a fucking 4-game parlay.
Listen, Gigabyte. I had it all lined up and it was supposed to work. I know it's not a great bet, but it's fine. That should happen. Cup should just go for a first down rather than slide, and then I win. There's all kinds of these things that are conspiring against me. But you know what? I don't care. The Jets are the best team in the AFC, and I am fired up, and we are ready to pick some winners, and it's bye week. And like I said, maybe I said this to you, I don't know, I need this bye week more than the players need this bye week for the Jets. I need this for my head hurts. My soul hurts. My heart hurts. I need a week of R&R, of not worrying about the Jets. And I'm excited for bye week.
What are your plans on rewarding yourself for having a bye week? Is it going to go get a tug? That Nordic Spa is still open. I saw someone there yesterday.
I saw a friend of ours was there today. But my plan is just to relax and not have to worry about this week and just watch football. And I suspect the Sunday Night Live show will be pretty subdued because of it.
I was going to say, Jeff, do you want to be on Sunday Night Live this week leading up to the Chargers game, or is that just too much? Or are you going to be out of your mind?
Maybe.
I say
I won't be out of my mind. No. I was with people, my buddies that I watch football with every week. They've noticed I am almost like a neutered soul. I didn't react to kind of anything on Sunday. I have no expectations. The current situation is kind of beating it out of me. People were really surprised. Normally on a Sunday, I'll just eat air, weed, and vodka, and actually ate some food during the Charger game, which I don't think I've ever done. That's how I don't have what Tim has. I see his just pure adrenaline, and it makes me happy for him. But I guess I can do the Sunday night show.
All right.
But no, I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm not expecting anything good to come of Sunday night. So I'd be more than, I guess, happy to join you. And 7-2 super lock here. And that comes from no gigabyting at all, straight Cam Stewart from the brain and the gut, which probably the best gold picks record across the Mayo Media Network. I'm sure this show might even have better gold picks than the other one.
Ooh.
And on top of that,
we actually picked the line. We actually picked the real line. We don't ask for extra points and aren't granted a half point here and a half point there. We just have to pick it the way it is.
And I saw it got discussed again. And I maybe it's not the best thing that Tim will defend me, but I take umbrage with just because I reference a team as we. I don't think that means I think I'm part of a team.
Correct.
I don't think it works like that. As I've said many times, and I know Tim has adopted my talking points on this, I'm just here, and I'm here forever. And the good players that are here now, I'll be here longer than, and the bad players here now, I certainly hope to be here longer than, and anyone but, even the current owners will probably be here longer than based on some of the rumor mill and stuff. So I have no issue saying we. I have no issues, and I have no issues with people like identifying me as a fan. Like if I'm dead and the Chargers win the Super Bowl, you'll think of me, and I'm flattered by that. Or when they lose the Super Bowl, a heartbreak, you'll think of me. But that doesn't mean I think I'm on the team because I like say we in my talking points when discussing the team. I don't think that at all.
I thought about you when Eckler put the ball on the carpet. That was my first thought. Was that I don't know how Jeff reacted to this one. I know how I would.
That's just That's just like Chargers football. I don't even know. I was kind of numb. It's like, how did that just happen? Like, why are you even going forward? What do you need the extra 2 yards for? Like he ran that play and then he's taking it outside. And then my first instinct is, okay, that's where this kicker wants the ball, outside. Then he needs to cut it up. And I'm like, okay, that's really weird. And then he gets a couple yards. I'm like, that's not bad. And then you see the ball out and you're just, God, help me now. All that being said, won't get the credit for it. No box score. If you watch the replay of the play, that bozo who dropped the ball on Atlanta, he saw this 6'6" specimen of a human being coming after him, and he didn't know what to do, and he just plooped the ball out. But if you watch, like, there's stills of that play, like Justin Herbert kind of his simple presence made this guy be like, I don't know what to do here. And he dropped the football.
No one notices because they're too busy bashing him online. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is about.
I see it too.
Oh, thank you.
I see it too. People love taking a shot at Herbert.
I don't know why. I don't know why that is very in vogue, because they can't actually watch the 4 quarters of the game.
I think it's because there are people who are literally trying to build the groundwork to take the Emmanuel Acho position and like hold it up in the air and say, actually, Tua was the right pick. And what we have to do is not only just put air in Tua's tires, we have also got to, start to really.
No. This isn't even about Tua.
Oh, I think it is. I think it always is.
How can they? What's the matter? They can. Jalen Hurts can be better than all of them from the class. Then
no, but there's a whole contingent of people whose goal it is to make it seem like Tua was the right pick. They have to defend that bad pick, et cetera, and that's where this is coming from.
In fairness
I
to Jeff,
you're right about that.
I haven't seen more than 3 people ever mention that Tua should be, even today, that Tua should have been taken over Herbert. I think everyone acknowledges that Herbert's the better quarterback that you'd rather have. It's just maybe Tua's not bad. That's the new narrative.
Yeah, and listen, I've been here before. Rivers was picked in a sandwich of Eli and Ben, and they both won 2 Super Bowls. Like, you can even debate who's talented there. Maybe that one is more equal or less equal. I don't know. I'm prepared to lose this one too. But you can't, you can't convince me that, Tua is a more well-rounded quarterback than Justin Herbert.
Of course not.
My eyeballs just will not believe that.
Helps when you can see your receivers wide open and they stay healthy.
I don't think I've said more than 1.5 bad words about Tua in almost a year and a half.
Well, how could you?
The narrative on him got so, pardon?
How could you say anything detrimental towards Tua over the past year? He's been great.
No, but that's this season. I'm even talking about last year, and it felt like the piling on got so silly and so unfair that it was like, no, this guy, we would even have our debates, and I was defending him more vigorously than, I guess it was almost just taking an anti-Tim stance. But I don't know. Tim seems to think that this current Herbert hate is too related. I see it even unrelated to that whatsoever. And maybe I do live in my own head. Do you want to know something? My buddy in my fantasy pool, I own Khalil Herbert, but I don't even remember that. So he's like AJ Dillon for Herbert. And I start an uproar. I start messaging the commissioner and all my other friends. The nerve of him to offer me, he thinks I'm going to wave the white flag on Herbert. Why is one of my best friends talking to me like he doesn't even know me? Turns out he wanted Khalil Herbert, and he didn't even realize.
I hope you accept.
I'm losing my mind.
You're
right.
Did you accept the trade?
No, you told me not to. What? Herbert for AJ Dillon?
For AJ Dillon?
No, you told me not to. 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 No, you to Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Aaron Jones is hurt. You should go accept that now.
Well, it doesn't exist anymore. That was last week.
Ah, okay. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, I guess that was a bad turn down. I was riding that like 1 week high of people really wanting Khalil Herbert, except it didn't even register in my mind that I owned him because my mind works like on one track. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
Where are we?
We're at Thursday Night Football. Atlanta at Carolina, rematch of 2 weeks ago. One of the more depressing first quarters of the year, and then a really fun game from there on out. 43.5 is the total. The Panthers are 3-point dogs at home. Peach getting the start over Faker Mayfield, Tim, and the Darnold. Although he has been activated off injured reserve, he is apparently not yet ready to play. Do you think we'll see Sam Darnold?
I would if I were the Panthers.
Yeah.
Like, your season's over. He hasn't been able to play. Let's throw him out there and see what he can do. Absolutely. You're paying him anyway. You've seen enough from Baker and from Walker. If Darnold can play, yeah, sure. Give him a shot. I would.
Jeff, are you a big fan of PJ Sleepwalker out on the field?
Or Steve Wilt.
Steve Wilts.
I don't care much for either of them, but I would have no issues if they went to Sam Darnold at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta here. Their offense, well, it's been incredibly efficient in terms of the running game. Not that maybe Burns is able to help limit the run a little bit, but no one can really stop Atlanta's rushing attack. Like, that's the one thing that they do well. They can't play defense, and Lord knows that maybe they'll unleash Donta Foreman on them again. 3 seems about right. It feels like Atlanta by 3 is the exact proper line. But they should have won by 6 last time that they played, and then gave up a 70-yard Hail Mary, missed extra point, ended up winning by 3 anyway. So I like the 3 here, even on the road. It doesn't discourage me, and I thought that their offense looked a lot better when Cordero came back. So I'm good. I'm good with the 3 in Atlanta.
By turns, though, Carolina ran it all over Atlanta.
Yeah, well, Atlanta doesn't play defense.
Yeah, so it's one of these spots where it's so tough. I'm still on team Tampa's trash, and so I guess Atlanta has to be my play in the division. Oh God, I'll take Atlanta. I hate this. The old me would always take Carolina here.
I think Carolina, as soon as DJ Moore took off his helmet, there's a chance that their season ended. It just took whatever they had left, it was gone.
Yeah, I sort of intimated that last week, that there was sort of like their last hurrah. That's all they had left, and like there was no energy left.
And then you took Carolina against Cincinnati?
No, I did. I bet against them. I bet against them last week.
Oh.
I took Cincinnati. One of the very few games I got right was Cincinnati. I'll take the Falcons. I hate this. I wouldn't touch this game with a 1,000-foot pole. What a trash game this is.
Jeff?
Yeah, let's make it a party. I'll take Atlanta, even if it doesn't feel like the spread is proper. Like, to your point, I think, Pat, you look at some of the metrics. Carolina might not be as bad as we're perceiving them to be, and maybe they shouldn't be getting these 3 points at home. But just in my blind perception of it, I have to take Atlanta. And getting to see it firsthand, that Kyle Pitts guy's a problem. I hope he can go off in this game, but I don't understand.
He's a problem for being on my fantasy team because he sucks, or like in real life he's actually good, but they can't get him the ball.
I'm not sure which one it is. But you see him running the routes, you think he should be like majestic out there, and it's just not.
Is he like?
It's not.
You know how you see some guys at the gym, but they're not actually strong in real life. Is he the popcorn muscles of the NFL?
I'm a slut for the NFL draft. Like, I admit that. Like, I just love it. I love, putting air in all these guys' tires, falling in love with all of them. So, as like this draft nudnik, I buy into the hype. Like, I buy into it. It doesn't have to do with anything with my team. I buy into it. Much like the same way I bought into the Trevor Lawrence hype. And I don't know. I'm waiting for magic. Still waiting to see some magic.
All right. Seattle at Tampa Bay live from Germany this week. What is it? Tampa Bay by, it's 2.5 now. 44 is the over-under. I'm kind of with Tim on this one. The Bucs finally came through for me. last week against a team I just absolutely don't believe in the Rams, and I feel like I really capped the Rams properly, that they only have one way to score points, and that guy was injured. Turns out he wasn't super injured. That's the only way they scored points, and it still wasn't enough. Give me the Seahawks. Plus 2.5. I don't know where on the field that Tampa is currently better than Seattle at all. I don't get this line.
No, it makes no sense. It's much like the Jets don't get any respect in the AFC. The Seahawks get zero respect in the NFC. They're the two teams this year that were expected to finish last in their division, that are vying to win their division, and the books and the public refuse to give them an iota of respect. Yeah, this game is in Germany, and that's a lot further travel for Seattle than it is Tampa. But Seattle's a younger, hungrier, friskier team. I think they're going to knock Tampa out. I love Seattle in this game. It's one of the very few games this week I actually legit love aside. I really like Seattle.
I think I was considering locking this in as my super lock, Jeff, but the Germany thing does throw me off a little bit because I don't know how this is going to affect anyone. I don't know what the field is like over in Germany. Shout out to our friends in Munich. A lot of Pat Mayo Experience fans over in Munich. So, go to the game. Have some fun. Seems like I'll be watching.
Have a beer. Tease the Seahawks up. They are the first end of a teaser.
Oh, God. I mean, that's a good Wong teaser, too. You're teasing through 3 through 7? Look at you.
That's one of the reasons I love it. It's a fantastic, it's what they call a plus SEO teaser.
So up to 8.5?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see this any differently? Because I'm still waiting. Out of all those shit teams that we thought were going to be good, Jeff, I still believe that Tampa is the one who's going to end up figuring it out because they don't need to figure it out yet. They're in the shittiest division possible. They could be shit for another month and still be in the playoff race.
Yeah. That was a big problem. That was a big Saints loss, I guess, last night. A real bad one. Tampa's just fine. And Tim ran over them and then backed the car up, ran over them again, and then went back forward over them. And that game versus Tim's Rams sort of was a lifeline for Tampa. It does feel like their season got saved. And to Pat's point, even if they lost that game, it kind of felt like their season would have been fine because the Saints lost and the Falcons lost. I'm just going to split up the love affair here. The Germany thing seems weird. This is a really long trip for Seattle. Just give me Tampa. I'll take Tampa as a small favorite, but I don't care. I don't love this game. I don't feel it the way both of you guys feel it. If I did love it, I would the only thing that would scare me is the international factor. That can be a really weird game. And what time this game actually is going to be for Seattle. I'm sure they have a travel plan, but jet lag could be real on that one.
Do we worry about jet lag? Is the same thing when we talk about this golfer just finished up in Dubai on Monday and he's teeing off Thursday in Phoenix. And it's like, and you talk to the guys it's no big deal. We fly private.
Well, jet lag's not about the flight, though. Jet lag's about how the time difference affects you.
Sure, but that's
your sort of
but there's
rhythm.
11-hour time differences. I'm sure if golfers can figure it out.
Maybe they should do the Russell Wilson workout on the plane.
They should. It worked for him, Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah.
Eat some Subway, get some stretches in. As I previously said, I'm pretty sure they told him to stretch because he wanted to pull out his guitar and start singing hymns to everyone as they went overseas. And they were like, no, thanks, Russ. Why don't you stretch for a bit, pal?
It's funny. As much as I hate the London games, I'm interested to see a Munich game.
So you're big on you're big on Germany over England, huh? I thought you were an
Anglophile.
Anglophile.
I am an Anglophile, but this sort of Bavarian matchup just seems very interesting to me. I haven't seen this stadium outside of soccer ever before, so I'm just curious what Munich's stadium looks like.
Tim, I went to Germany at Epcot at Disney World.
Okay,
so it's like being there.
I had this great, huge Bavarian soft pretzel. Delicious.
Oh, I bet that would be good. Covered in yellow mustard?
I'm more of the cheesy fondue guy, but it comes with a spicy mustard as well.
I have always wanted to go to Munich for Oktoberfest. It's one of the cities I'd like to... Of all the cities in the world, Munich is in the top 5 of cities I'd like to travel to.
Would you like me to tell you about when I was in Munich? And I didn't get to go into this stadium, but I walked right by. I was like, all right, looks great. Looks very, very high tech. Munich is really weird. I went to 3 places in Germany, and Munich because okay, I think it's Munich got like the shit bombed out of it during World War II, right?
It most certainly did
So-
get destroyed. in the
So
war,
so
yes.
all of its architecture is like this weird early 50s architecture because everything needed to be rebuilt. It reminded me a lot of where we live, weirdly enough.
Okay. Well, that's kind of neat. And like, I bet you the food scene and like the beer, like the crafties, must be off the hook in Munich.
The crafties.
I think they just call it
Like-
beer there.
Maybe, but it would be like I've always wanted to have one of those big, massive beers you see on TV, and I don't know. I think Munich would be a cool place to visit personally. You've been there, you liked it.
Yeah, no, I did. It rained the entire. I was there for 3 days. It rained. It poured rain all 3 days I was there. So it was the worst experience that I had. Very lovely city though. It'd be nice to get if they continue to go with these Munich games. We'll go to one of these and we'll do the show
Yes,
live.
please.
From there.
That'd be fun.
Well, Munich, do you remember how bad the games were for England forever? And Munich shows up in their first game, they get Tom Brady. I mean, that's a pretty good score.
I would say so.
Yeah, but on pay, I guess that maybe they thought that Tampa was going to be good when they released the schedule. They certainly did not expect the Seahawks to be any good.
No, they didn't.
No, but they threw them Tom Brady, and they knew Tom Brady was back by the time the schedule was out. And I'm just saying,
true.
compare that to like the first 8 years of London games. It was like Giants, Dolphins, and shit.
Or the Toronto games.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, those were bad.
What an awful place to watch football, Skydome. It's horrible. Bad games. Remember watching Falcons Bills. It was just god awful. Oh, Bills are up next. Minnesota at Buffalo. This line has moved to -6 right now. Still no word on Josh Allen and whether or not he's playing at the time that we're recording this. 45. I think because the Bills have Carolina next week. So regardless of how injured, like the extent of the injury of the elbow to Josh Allen, if the whole goal here, as we've seen, Jeff, that the Bills have been very cautious with the guys that they're bringing back. Like they could have brought back Tre'Davious White potentially last week to play against the Jets. And they were like, you know what? We want to make sure he is 100%. Sort of like what Keenan Allen is trying to do for your team. Like, listen, I just wait till I'm 100% so I can get back on the field. So I stop re-aggravating my hamstring, which is actually pretty logical. That I have a feeling that Josh Allen, he's a tough guy, although Tim would call him soft, that he's going to try to push through this injury and it's never going to get better. And it's going to detrimentally impact how good he is going to be, especially 2 months from now, where, you know what, you might lose this game to the Vikings. Although if he doesn't play, you get a Case Keenum revenge game for the Bills against the Vikings in Buffalo. And then you got Carolina next week. If you can't beat Carolina with Case Keenum at quarterback, you weren't going to win the Super Bowl anyway. So if you give him the 2 weeks and just give him the 2 weeks off, and then all of a sudden you can let him rehab his elbow, all of a sudden I feel like you're just in a much better position if you're forward thinking about actually winning the Super Bowl. Do you potentially give up your chance of losing the 1 seed? Yeah. Then you got to win an extra game. If you're going to be good, then you should win the extra game anyway. I just worry that he's going to try to push through this and it's going to fuck them.
Okay, just for clarification, because we're popular in the Mafia region. It's Cleveland next week, not Carolina.
Oh, is it Cleveland
I
next
don't know
week?
if
Oh, sorry.
Changes. Yeah, they don't. It's Cleveland and then Detroit on Thanksgiving. So those are their next 3 games: Minnesota, Cleveland, Detroit. I don't think you're wrong, and I guess I do agree with your assessment that just the everything that's kind of built up there in him. I don't think they're gonna let him sit. I don't think he's gonna let them sit. In the same ridiculous way, I don't know how the Chargers didn't just let Justin Herbert sit week 3. This guy is worth more than Justin Herbert in the league picture.
Because here's the difference here's why. Because it was so early in the season, you don't know how long it's going to be. And I'm sure that Herbert tried to push through to play, but you're also trying to play catch up against the Chiefs. In this scenario, you play Keenum. Hell, set him out on Thanksgiving as well against the Lions. Sucks for TV, but I mean, maybe you should be able to beat the Lions. That seems pretty sensible to me. And then you look at the next 3 games after that. So I'm sorry I misspoke about Carolina and Cleveland. I saw the C, got mixed up. So Vikings, Browns, Lions. You sit them for all 3 of those games. They are still favorites in all 3 of those games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they'll go 2-1.
Yeah, you go
For
2-1, and then you go Patriots, Jets, Dolphins with Josh Allen coming back. Like, those are really the 3 games that you need to win anyway. Then you basically cruise to the division title if you go 3-0 in those games. Like, I don't know, play the long game here.
I do not disagree, I guess, because if the Bills just go to the playoffs healthy, it doesn't matter what their seed is. Certainly. So I don't disagree. And they've shown they can go to the very end and win. And worst case, lose at the end in Arrowhead.
Well, no, all they've ever proven is that they lose on the road in the playoffs. Their only playoff wins are at home. They don't win on the road.
They can't be KC. They can't be KC.
They beat the Colts and the
They
Ravens.
can't
They
be
beat the Colts and the Ravens. Beat the Colts and the Ravens at home.
Josh
they beat the
Allen being
Patriots at
healthy
home.
is more valuable than being at
Sure.
home. Like
Sure.
that's
Okay.
that's
No,
the
no,
argument
I
Pat's
don't-
making, and
I'm-
I don't dispute
I'm on board,
that.
but you could jeopardize the division. Miami and the Jets are right there on your heels.
Yeah, he kind of just put that out there. You might jeopardize that, but you'll go play just bring him back for the head-to-heads.
Yeah, you get these 3 weeks, and then the next 3 games are Patriots, Jets, Dolphins. If you have the healthy Josh Allen for those, you're basically double-digit favorites in all of them.
I think
And if they go
I think
2-1,
they might lose. They'll probably go. If with Keenum, they'll go 1-2 in these games.
I don't think so.
They might go 0-3, and that would suck. They could go 3-0 with Keenum in those games too.
The 0-3 would be sweet.
He's going to play, and I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to lay these points as, the big Vikings guy. And even if people think they're not as good as their record, I can't even dispute that. But I'm hopeful that the Vikings with a new coach might just have their best football winning sloppy. Maybe they can still win with their best football later in the year. That's someone with the Vikings future. The Bills at home, I do not care. Anything under 10 should be a bet. I know they beat the Packers by 10 and they didn't get the cover. The Pittsburgh game, they won by like 35. The Titan game, they won by 35. I think they win every home game by double digits. This one's under double digits. They're going to win. They're going to cover.
And
Give me the Bills.
And the next 2 games, at home against the Vikings, at home against the Browns, at the Lions on Thanksgiving, if you were wondering that way. If you want to bet the Bills, wait. Because the line in real time has just dropped to 5.5. It's just until we know for certain which way it's going to be, that the line is just going to keep dropping. So I like the Bills as well, -6, Tim. So does the coin. No,
I
the
do
coin
too.
likes the coin likes Minnesota, actually.
It's got nothing to do with Buffalo. It's a complete play against Minnesota. The Vikings just look so unimpressive game after game after game. The only fear would be, as the Jets showed late last week, you can run right down the Buffalo Bills' throat if you want to. And if the Vikings decide to put the ball in Cook's hands and say, you're going to touch it 30 times today, and we're just going to grind the Bills down, I think that could be a very effective strategy to defeat Buffalo. But will Minnesota do that? I don't know. I got my doubts. I'll play Buffalo here. I think they win by a touchdown.
Minnesota also has the Cowboys the week after, which is probably going to get like a Romo Nance. That's probably the game that CBS is protecting that got the Chargers Chiefs bumped to Sunday night. Also,
it is. Yeah, it is.
game.
It is America's game of the week next week.
No, that's a Fox thing, but it probably
Or
would
whatever,
be a Romo.
Yeah.
It would be a Romo Nance and probably the pinnacle 4:00 game.
You're right.
And,
Yeah,
I like the Bills. The Bills are going to win by double digits. If it's Keenum, it would actually set up a really good betting spot for Buffalo, like real life.
Yeah, I mean, I like Keenum. Keenum's fine in terms of like overall backups. I would assume he's like a top 5 backup in football.
If
It'd
Keenum
be a
starts,
revenge
what's the
game
number?
for him.
What's the number if Keenum starts? Vikings by 1? Vikings by 2?
No, it'd be Bills by 3.5.
If Keenum starts?
As I'm saying, if Keenum starts, I think they're at least a 3-point favorite in all 3 of those games with Keenum starting.
Detroit, definitely.
Yeah, and the other 2 games are at home. And the Browns are playing their backup quarterback.
I don't know.
What do you
The
think? It would be,
Bills,
Jeff?
their first game with a backup. If Keenum plays, it would be my super lock.
Also,
The best team in football playing a game with their backup. I would love it. I would love it.
And
I would love it.
If you start Keenum the next 2 weeks, he gets double revenge games against the Vikings and Browns. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So Buffalo for the 3 of us coin, taking Minnesota. Paul, Bills fan, are they getting anyone back on defense this week? Like, is Milano playing?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Interesting.
I wish I had answers, but I don't.
I love my team. I have 2 children and a wife, so I have other things that are priorities that Tim does not. That video showing his behavior on Sunday, like I get is a big game and exciting moment. I don't know how Paul doesn't like elbow him in the side of the head when he's like literally acting like Warren from Something About Mary watching the game. in his like orange sleeve vest. Like what is that?
I don't even recall what I was wearing.
You were told you looked like a fucking fly fisherman, Gord.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Did Tim just come from the boat? Like and just make it in time for kickoff?
How many
It's a little too chilly this time of year. Oh, a ton. And now that we're into cardigan season, they'll continue to roll out week after week. Many, many cardigans. It's
I felt bad for Paul. Like watching, there's this video. Paul's just sitting beside you, and you're just acting like a lunatic.
He is.
This man
Paul
just
had
trying
to hear me.
enjoy the game.
Paul had to hear me all game. But you know what? Paul shows up with a Bills jersey on and multiple Diet Pepsis. He was asking for a fight. He was asking for a fight.
I mean,
And
that's
he got
main
him.
character syndrome, Tim.
Yeah, Paul
You
likes
think
Diet
everything's
Pepsi,
about
he
you?
likes the
I
Bills.
have Diet Cokes at home. I'm a Bills fan. What am I supposed to do?
You show up with a bunch of Diet Pepsis. You have the
Oh, it
Bills
has
jersey on.
everything
At
to
one
do.
point,
I
you say-
bring
At
I
one
bring
point,
Diet
you look
Cokes
to
into
me
this
and
studio.
at one
you're
point
not
you
here
look
to
at
see
me
it.
after you take a sip. You take a sip of your Diet Pepsi. You look at me and you say, "I'm your worst nightmare
So-
today."
The Bills fan is wearing a
That's
You
true.
did
Bill-
say that to me.
the Bills fan is wearing a Bills jersey and then drinking like one of two main diet soda drinks. Like what a coincidence.
But Paul just did it to at Tim because everything needs to revolve around Tim. Tim is just very lucky that I didn't get his Jet celebration on video because it was Paul. How would you call it? We're going to the Super Bowl. He took off running into the other room with these little steps. It was really weird.
It's absolutely nightmare fuel. Like
It's not safe for the internet, is what you're saying?
we better absolutely trounce them when the Bills play them at home, because I don't know if I'll live with myself if the Jets go 2-0 against the Bills.
What if
this
the
year.
Jets go 2-0 against the Bills, but the Bills still get the 1 seed and the Jets miss the playoffs?
That would be funny.
There you go.
I mean, the
There's
Jets
a fun
defense is
scenario.
good. Credit where credit's due.
All right.
Thank you, Paul.
Jacksonville at Kansas City. Saxonville coming off a win. Don't see many of those. Chiefs are only favored by 9.5 at home. Seems strange. And maybe this was, I think we discussed this a little bit on the Sunday show, Tim, that it just seemed really weird that the Titans opened as 12.5 point dogs in Kansas City. And maybe that was baked in because of the injuries at quarterback before they knew who was starting. And they thought that, hey, even if Tannehill plays, he's not going to be 100%, so we need to lay this. Or is this just a product of, the advanced numbers think Jacksonville's pretty good?
Well, that happens week after week. The advanced numbers tell us that Jacksonville is good, even though I see no evidence with my eyes to call them a good team. The line is wrong. I think that it's the Chiefs should win this game by a couple of touchdowns. We're teasing the Chiefs down. They're another one of my teasers. We're bringing them down. I don't know. I look at this and I go, Tennessee executed a perfect game plan to cover and almost beat the Chiefs. Jacksonville doesn't have that in their repertoire. What Jacksonville does well is not the sort of thing that will work against the Chiefs. They don't have the defensive ability to bottle up the Chiefs. I expect fireworks in Kansas City this week.
Disagree. I think the Chiefs
Look ahead
win.
game.
I think the Chiefs win comfortably, but I'm going to take the points here with Jacksonville, who I think will have no issue running the ball on Kansas City. I think the game might be a little bit more of a slog than you're pointing it out to be. I just think it's too many points. Backdoor, the Jags' ability to run the football should keep them around, and I don't see the blowout that you're seeing, despite the Chiefs probably never being in fear of losing the game. And I love Mike Vrabel. I kind of wish the Chargers had a coach like Mike Vrabel.
I mean, there's always a chance. There's always a chance the Chargers could fire Staley and then sign like a Mike Vrabel lookalike from Vegas or something like that, and just put him on the team.
Well,
everyone's doing these days.
They could fire Staley and hire Phillip Rivers tomorrow. I'd have no issue with that one bit. But I don't understand for a coach that is literally on the record as saying he would cut his dick off to win a Super Bowl, which means I will do whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. To me, that sometimes implies that whatever I have to work with, I will do my best to work whatever talent I have to work with, I'll try to put myself in the best position to just win that football game. When that fourth quarter started, they still had that 8-point lead. They still had the football, and they should have done one thing. They should have just gone like full Army wishbone. Because at that point in the football game, if they just got their 3.5 a carry with any of their running backs, mainly one of the best guys on the planet in Henry, or that quarterback, they win the football game.
Okay, but if they tackle Mahomes on 3rd and 17, they win the football game.
They kept giving the ball back right away. Eventually, Mahomes is going to make the play.
But it's 3rd and 17. If they just tackle him on his run, which they should have, or tackle him on the touchdown, or tackle him on the 2-point conversion, like they win the game too. So that's all fair enough. But I don't know.
They had an opportunity to just like even change their stripe a little bit more when that fourth quarter started, and they would have won that game comfortably. And
Willis is bad. That's what we learned a lot from that game. Willis is not good. Can't play.
I mean, we all just for the past 16 months said the same thing about Justin Fields. Now apparently he is good. So maybe it just takes a little bit of differentiation in play calling. I don't think Vrabel's the right guy to completely change an offensive formula for a quarterback who does the exact opposite of what your starting quarterback does.
Yeah, I don't blame Willis at all. It's an awkward spot, prime time in Kansas City for a guy with as little experience as he is and as unpolished as he is. And they came out of the gate throwing just to show Kansas City they could throw and would throw, and that worked for a little, and then they couldn't make another throw almost what seemed like the rest of the game, and Kansas City didn't have to protect any of it. Chiefs win comfortably, but the Jags flirt and get the cover.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the backdoor cover as well. I'll take Jags plus 9.5. This is a fun matchup between the Jags, who over the past month have the 3rd worst pass defense in football, and Kansas City, who has the 4th worst rush defense in football. So maybe their best opportunity here is get up early, so make sure that Jacksonville can't run the ball against you, although they'll probably try to do that anyway. Etienne's a big problem for them because he breaks off big plays, just like Henry does.
Sure, not quite to the same extent, but sure.
He does it in a different fashion. Like Derrick Henry's going to bowl you over and keep on running. But every single week, Etienne's just hitting the hole and he's gone. Like he's just so fast.
He has to have a huge day for them to cover this spread. I just think if you look at it, it's like, I don't know. I think there's a lot more outs for the Chiefs to cover than for Jacksonville. That's my opinion.
Yeah, don't be afraid of Kansas City sleepwalking as well. Paul, what do you got?
I was wondering if Tim would be able to tackle Travis Etienne in the open field.
No, not in the open field. No, he would just give me a shoulder
Derrick
shake
Henry,
and be
yes.
gone.
Derrick Henry, yes.
No, I always said not. I never said in the open field. I always said on a snap in a real game. At the line of scrimmage, like with linebackers, people around. Like he's trying
Nobody
to,
blocked.
he's in the hole, and I just like
what position are you
get in the hole
playing?
and stuff the
I
run.
have to ask, what position are you playing in this circumstance?
Middle linebacker.
Really?
Yes, middle linebacker.
Okay. So your new how you are now framing this is someone else can make the tackle on Derrick Henry and you can fall on top of the pile if no one else is around.
No,
And
I've
you
got
would
to
get
be the one who makes the tackle. But
oh my god!
But like he goes in the hole and I just I make the tackle or I dive and he trips over me or something.
I don't think we'd ever see you again.
4-3 defense or 4-5?
4-3 with me in the middle.
Oh wow, that's a lot of territory to cover, bud.
Cleveland at Miami. Miami is a 3.5-point favorite now at home. This game opened at 4, so shifting towards the Browns. 48.5 is the over-under. I wonder if this will be another game, Jeff, where Tim's that includes the Dolphins for the third straight week now. Or you got to take the under because the Dolphins can't score points, and then they drop like 40 coming out. I think this might be my super lock unless something else really pops out to me as we go along. With the way that the Dolphins defense is playing right now, I just can't. If it's more than 3 points, I'm taking the other team. I think the Dolphins just will continue to win by 3 week after week. They should have just won by 3 against Detroit a few weeks ago. And fortunately for Miami backers, they were able to cover that spread against the Lions. But I like what I've seen from Cleveland. They're coming off a bye week. They're going to be able to run the ball between Peoples-Jones and Njoku coming back most likely. And Amari Cooper, I think they're going to be able to pass pretty well to keep up on the scoreboard with Miami. I think they're going to stop Miami a bunch, but hey, who cares? I'm going to take Cleveland plus 3.5.
I was really surprised to see the way this line moved. And hey, we hit the Miami to win, Chicago to
The Feinberg.
cover little smorgasbord.
That's called the Feinberg now.
Do we
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
again? Do we have a Browns cover and a
Yeah,
Dolphins
'cause-
win this week for a Feinberg?
I saw the 4 and thought that seems a little short right now. And then to see it move to 3.5, I like the 4. As someone that was on Chicago and on Detroit, who, as you mentioned, Pat, kind of felt like the right side in some respects. I'm going on Miami here. They're just on such a roll. Coach is just calling things other teams can't keep up with. Tua is just throwing such a nice ball. I don't know if they can avoid, I guess, the Myles Garrett situation. And I don't know, McDaniels keeps up the pressure. I don't know. I think Miami wins. They'll cover here. Yeah, McDaniel likes to go for it. I don't know. Seems small. Don't love the game. Not going to bet it, but I'm going to lean Miami for sure right now.
Tim?
Me too. I like Miami quite a bit in this game.
Oh
Me
yeah,
too.
you're just
Offensively,
you're,
I expect
you're just
them-
jumping. You were saying nice
What
things
are
about
you
Tua taking Miami in games. We see what you're doing.
Just you wait till the hammer show.
Oh.
I really think that the Dolphins offensively should be able to score enough points to cover the number. The last time we saw the Browns, the Bengals just no-showed. And Cleveland, of course, played very well defensively. But I don't see Cleveland having the ability to shut down Hill and Waddle. I don't see Cleveland with the ability in that heat to being able to keep up. I mean, the only path to them covering and winning is that the Browns play the game they want, which is that they grind it out, that they control the clock, and they get some turnovers. And I don't see it happening here. This is a game that this is a spot and a temperature and an opponent that this Dolphins team is built for. They're not built to play tough games in the cold, but they're built for this type of game. I expect them to slaughter Cleveland. I like them here.
I don't know what
The early temperature says it's going to be 80 degrees for this game.
That's pretty darn warm. That's hot.
It's not like 10. It's not like it was in the Bills game. It was like 100 and something.
No,
Yeah,
but
no, that's not going to
like-
melt. That's not going to melt them. That's not going to cause like insane cramping or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
it's not. But it's just an advantage that Miami has, and I would really like them in this spot. I'm
Hold on.
loath to go against them often at home. It's on the road where it's better to sort of take a whack at Miami, and that's not here.
Miami is notorious. Like they do have that early season advantage. You come there in September where it can still be 100, like close to 100, and you're wearing your darks, and that sun is shining on you. That's a real thing. I don't think that's a thing. Even Miami people acknowledge is still a thing in the middle of November.
Maybe not. I just think like they'll just be more comfortable in what is certainly a heck of a lot warmer than it is at the Great Lakes.
They're at home. They should be more comfortable. Yeah, I don't know. Should be a really fun.
Yeah, me too.
Fun
I think
game.
this
This
is
could be the 1
I think
o'clock big screen game. Like
was
Miami
gonna
is
say.
a fun game to watch. They're incredibly entertaining. They keep popping off the big plays. Even seeing Tua look healthy, it's entertaining to watch.
I agree. I think this might be our principal game. It's either that or Buffalo.
Or Jacksonville and Kansas City.
Yeah, that's got a case too.
But I don't know. Like I don't know what your tell is on if you're being genuine.
No, I am being genuine. I bet against it. I pick against Miami when I think they're in a bad spot, like I did last week. I thought Chicago was getting too many points, and that Chicago was well equipped to take care of them in Soldier Field. I don't like it this week.
This is almost like you are so concerned about how good Miami looks that you are now pivoting from your other takes from the last
he
month.
did it to the Bills last week. He's doing it to Miami this week. Just wait until next week. The Jets are never going to lose another game except this game to the Patriots because they're so
Like, if the-
good.
Yeah. And if the Dolphins lose this game, you're going to come on Sunday night pretending it was such an obvious, like it was such an easy loss to foresee, I feel.
Well, I really can't
Tim?
say that given what I've just said here.
No, yeah, no non-flip-flopper John Kerry, a.k.a. Tim Andercast.
He believes
I
in
feel
the curse.
really good about. No, I don't.
You do.
I don't.
You're
And,
very
like,
clear.
I just think
I
that
appreciate you're learning to harness the curse. I get that.
Miami is playing good football offensively. I think their porousness on defense is just not going to be taken advantage of by the Browns. And they have a soft sched. They're off next week. They're on bye. Then they get the Texans. I don't want to say much more because this will I don't. This is good SEO for the Hammer Show, maybe. But like the Dolphins are in a good spot right now.
Wait, you're
And
going to take them over wins or something? What is it, 10 and a
think
half?
I'm not going to ruin that here. That wouldn't be very good. But I'm just gonna let's just say this is a spot I really do like Miami in. I'll tell you when I don't like Miami in a spot, but this game isn't important, so Miami's going to play well.
He feels so confident against you, Jeff, in this futures portfolio that he's building, is that he's going to burn a pick trying to curse the Dolphins.
That does seem like it. And I got to admit, I kind of evaluated my situation today and said,
not bad.
Tim is probably going to be the better man in that contest, but I have to put my best effort on film. I have to put my best effort on tape. I have to still give suggestions that I believe in. Like, looking at the futures market, swinging for the fences now seems really hard. The chalk in the markets are huge, and the buyback, if you want to, get risky, is big. But it's like, I don't know. I don't believe in any of those scenarios. So I've just got to go to the market and just do my best for my own, tabulations, as opposed to thinking I now have to keep up with Tim and his wagon of a portfolio.
Worth noting, over the past month per DVOA, Cleveland has a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Like, they've been good. Very good, actually.
They've been really good, and it's almost like they've maximized everything they can get out of Brissett, and sometimes you get frustrated when watching them, thinking like, you should be happy with how well he's playing. Stop asking him to do more. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like, you've squeezed that juice. Now just keep running the ball. Like, you're putting him in unfair situations when you ask him to do too much when he's already exceeding what at least I thought he would have done in September, if that makes sense.
No, I'm with you on that. People want him to not only play as well as he has, but somehow take a next step like he's Geno Smith or something like that. But he's not. He's not as good as Geno.
Yeah.
Chargers could have had him as their backup. They had him as their backup.
Who?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, that was in the Rivers day. That was out of That was out of the Giants.
Yeah, it went from New York to the Chargers, didn't it?
He wasn't ready for this yet.
Well, how do
clearly.
you know? Yeah, he had to mature for 10 years.
No, I have no idea. But on that futures thing, it's almost unfair. Like, he's now the favorite in the comeback player market, which on that popularity contest, I guess, is fair. But it's unfair because he played well last year when he played in Spelling Russ. So I don't even, whatever. He's awesome. It's my favorite story in football is Seattle, despite me not believing in them, at least, long term for the season.
Mr. Unlimited is at Tennessee. He's a 3-point dog in Nashville. 38.5 is the total here. I'm such a sucker. I'm going to take the fucking Broncos +3. Bye week. Russ looked better against the awful Jags. Oh, my God. How much money can I lose on the Broncos this year, Tim?
Well, it hasn't been good for you. And, I mean, I'm torn here, too, because the Broncos are a very fluky team. I feel like they're going to be fluky in this game, that the Titans sort of exhausted themselves to stay with the Chiefs on Thursday night. And the Broncos sort of get to play them coming off a bye. They're kind of real lucky that they get the Titans in this spot. This is such a bad spot game for the Titans. I think the Titans are clearly a much better team. The books say that they're equal, with the Titans only getting 3 in Nashville. But it's such a great spot for Denver. Super rested and as healthy as they're going to get against a Titans team, which just, like I said, is just used up after playing as well as they could play last week. I'm going to take Denver. I don't know. I'm curious about Jeff. These are Jeff's 2 least favorite teams. So I'm curious who Jeff is picking in this game.
Okay,
I hate picking Denver here. I hate it, but I'm picking them.
Okay, let's go through this for a second, Jeff. Let me ask you, Denver versus the teams I'm going to mention, who do you think is better? Vegas or Denver?
Denver, and before you start this, when Denver takes a week off, it's almost made me realize, like, we've kind of been so hard on Denver. Like, it's almost unfair how hard we've been on Denver, because some situations are actually worse, like the Raiders should be getting almost way more heat than we ever gave Denver.
Well, as Raiders fans in the comment section have started to note that Tim was very anti-Raiders all last year, and they basically pulled to Minnesota, won every close game, and made the playoffs. Tim was in on the Raiders this year, and now they're god-awful. But yes, the Broncos do have 3 wins. Like, they're not completely dead as of yet. They need to start winning games. This would be a big one for them to win. So you agree that the Broncos are better than the Raiders. How about the Colts?
Yeah, they'd beat the Colts today.
Oh, yeah.
They'd shut them. The Colts would get a field goal. Denver's could get 9 points. I have no doubt.
Washington.
We saw that game.
Washington or Denver. Yeah, the Colts beat Denver, by the way. But yes.
Yeah, 9-6.
Yes. I think it was 12-9 in overtime, but that's
12-9.
Washington or Denver?
Washington.
Really?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. That's a real
Washington's
close
fun.
one.
Yeah, close, but Washington's playing freer, and they're a better. Like, I don't know, they're just a more entertaining and I think athletic team.
Okay.
But I see your point. I concede your point. But
how about the Texans or the Broncos?
Broncos.
Broncos.
So the Titans have beaten the Raiders by 2, the Colts by 7, the Commanders by 4, the Colts by 9, and the Texans by 7. And the most they've scored in those games is 24 points. I mean, just having them win by 4 or more just seems like a really arduous task against a Broncos defense, which is pretty good.
That's why I'm with you. I'm not
this
for the
line
reasons
is
you're
saying
describing, but I'm with you.
This line is saying Willis is quarterback, right?
No, I think this line is saying Tannehill's quarterback.
Oh, they hate the Titans never get any respect on any of these lines. Remember, they were 2-point dogs against the Colts, like week after week after week. The Titans are undervalued.
And I don't hate the Titans, by the way.
Yes, you do. Yes,
no,
you do.
I don't hate them.
The
No.
glee comes over you every time they play poorly. I don't know why we have to play this charade here where you pretend like you don't hate the Titans. Yes, you do.
No, I can find humor in my personal life because of a friend when they lose. But I don't hate, I really hate Denver. That's true.
So who you take it?
I'll take the Titans. If you tell me this line is indicative of Tannehill playing, I'll take the Titans at home.
Okay. Houston at the Giants. The Giants are favored by 6.5. The over-under is 41 in this game. Xavier McKinney hurt himself in an ATV accident, and he is going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. He calls their defensive plays, but I was speaking to Ross Tucker earlier on the show that I do for Odds Checker, and I asked him that question. I was like, how much is it going to impact their defense? Not just him being out, but losing your defensive play caller. He said it would be far more problematic if this happened in-game. Teams are savvy enough to get this figured out because it happened during the bye week, but don't worry about that. Just worry about his loss of talent on the defensive side of the ball. I can kind of play this one of two ways. I can see the Texans winning this game, weirdly enough, because I don't believe in the Giants. Because the Giants give up, they're not good at stopping the run. They give up a ton of yardage to the run, and that's all the Texans can do is run the ball. But that's the only positive thing they do. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. The Giants are a better team. Kind of torn on this. I want to take the Texans, but I could see Barkley rushing for 200 yards in this game.
Okay, well, I'll take the Texans. I'll go first. I don't think I can ask the Giants to cover a touchdown spread, which is what I need them to do here. It's too many points. That's not the way that the Giants win games, very close, getting good breaks and, managing things effectively in the fourth quarter. I think it's just a leap too far to ask them to win this game by 7 at home. I think the spread is too wide. I think it should be Giants by 4.5, not 6.5. Yeah, for all those reasons, I too am more skeptical of New York than other people might be. And I know the Texans are a bad football team. I don't care. Give me the Texans.
The Texans are, per DVOA over the last month, Jeff, the worst team in football.
I'm with Tim. He made a lot of points that I would make. It seems like the smart people in the room, this is one of their favorite games at the drop, was Houston taking back the full 7. Even at the 6.5, I will join the what do you call it? The gigabytes, the databases. I like Houston. I haven't spoken to Pizzola this week. I like Houston a lot. Also, it's funny as there are people that perceive they're that make jokes or send something to Paul Feinberg's rival like Pizzola. That's impossible. Pizzola's a good friend of mine. The things I like say or jokes like I've been saying to him since 2008, hearing him fight with Cam daily about, spreads or gut picks or narratives. Like that's all, like that's just like a way of life. That's been part of my life since for the last 15 years. I could never dislike Pizzola. He's my favorite professional gambler too.
We did find out about Rob this year is that he doesn't like stats or he doesn't like trends or narratives unless they agree with his pick, and then he's all in on them.
No, he never liked that. Like even going back, he hated that even before it was in vogue to hate trends. Like I remember they'd put trends up on the boards and he would hate them because they all mean nothing. You're talking about different coaches, different quarterbacks, different people. There are some, I guess, that are exclusive to like a coach and the core players on the team that maybe you can get some value in, but he's always hated those. I like Houston. We'll just keep picking on the Giants here. This seems like too many points to Tim's original point. Giants by winning by more than a touchdown. I'm not prepared for that, even versus the worst team in football.
I'm going to take the Giants -6.5, despite the fact they've only beat one team. They beat Chicago by 8. So at least they've shown they can do it at least once. Paul, did you have something to say?
Let me say this, to quote Jeff. I don't think anybody's ever reached out to me and said that Pizzola's your rival.
I don't know. I say things and then there's like subtweets.
Nobody's ever wrong. There's a lot of rivals that people reach out to me and carrier pigeon. Rob Pizzola's never been one of them.
We have a whole segment on the award show called Jeff's Rival.
I don't think I have any this year.
Oh yes, you buddy, you do.
Oh yes, you do. Do you not remember the things you said about Emmanuel Acho on Twitter 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he's on the list.
Yeah, he's the current favorite. Detroit at Chicago. The Bears are favored. They are not going to cash my worst team in football bet, and now I am deadly afraid of Justin Fields and this 5.5 under that I'm holding on to, but everyone's a bit too bullish on the Bears at the moment. They're not winning these games, so that's good news for me. And it just feels like, I don't know. I worry about the Lions outdoors on the road. I don't know how their offense is going to look. I mean, their offense looked horrible against a bad defense indoors at home last week. And it just feels like Bears are flavor of the month. They're still not even getting the full 3 at home. There's something in me that thinks the Lions win this game. And I don't know exactly what it is, Jeff. But I feel like this line is weird. I don't like it. And I'm just going to blindly bet the Lions.
Yeah, sorry, I'm blind. So what's our official line on this one?
2.5.
Okay, I have totally agree with your ultimate premise that you were trying to make off the top. It feels like now there's been a total role reversal between the Lions and the Bears. People now are just so in on the Bears. This could be my super lock. Detroit was my super lock last week. I might go right back to them. I know that's like a Cam thing to keep riding the Lions, but yeah, I don't agree with this one bit. And I feel like there could be some 3s out there by the time this thing gets serious. Give me the Lions. This is just a total public perception flip on the Bears. I am not buying into that, despite, like everybody, really enjoying what they've done. That was really fun to see Justin Fields, what feels like, separate himself from that quarterback class. I don't know what Tim's argument on that might be.
We did it. We all ranked Fields. We did that on Sunday night. We all had Fields at number 1. I mean, and that's just like 4 weeks worth of watching. That's how much it took for one quarterback from that draft class to elevate himself above everyone else. Was 3 good games in a row.
He has probably made the 4 best plays from that class in the last 6 weeks. So there, I guess it is his. And it feels like he can be a dominant fantasy player in the same way maybe Hurts was down the stretch or a lot of last year. Yeah, I'm all in on that, but not for this win, not for this role reversal. And that comes from someone who wasn't buying the Lions hype at all in the offseason and have under 6.5s and even have a re-up on that, giggling as people were watching Hard Knocks and thinking something was going to be different there. They will beat the Bears Sunday, though. Could be a super lock.
Yeah, the weird thing with I had money on the Bears last week, and he is Justin Fields, at least lately, because I had money on him against the Patriots as well. Just a super fun guy to have money on. Feels like you're never really out of it, but when you're a 9-point underdog, or hell, even a 5-point underdog, that's different than actually winning these games. And it's not like Detroit, some fantastic team that wins all the time. But now you have to win by 3, as Jeff said. It probably gets to 3. Then they have to win by 4. Just a lot for a team that, Tim, their defense is bad, like really bad.
It's extraordinarily bad. I like the Lions too, and I'm teasing them up. I think it's a good teaser as well. Play him through a couple of key numbers here. It's a divisional game. I expect it to be played very closely between two teams where I think you guys hit the nail on the head. The Bears are now being over trumpeted for games they're not even winning, by the way. They played well against Dallas and Miami the last 2 weeks. They lost both of those football games.
They lost to Dallas by 30.
Yeah, well, this is it, right? They scored a bunch of points, but they gave up 100 points to Dallas. They gave up a bunch of points to Miami. Yeah, I think it could be a very interesting game. 48.5 seems a touch high to me, I have to say.
Against the two worst defenses in the league, basically.
Yeah, but the Bears, the Lions aren't scoring a lot recently either, right? Like the Lions scored 15 points against Green Bay. They got shut out earlier in the year. It's not like the Lions are week after week ripping off huge numbers.
I don't know if this is some sort of I don't know how this works when you say this, because 2 weeks ago, and Miami was the key one involved in it, but Miami played these two teams the last 2 weeks. And then you said for sure under when they played the Lions. That was way over. It's the highest scoring game of the week. And then last week you said you loved the under with Chicago and Miami. And that was way over by halftime. So now that you're saying this game's going to be way under, is it going to be 3-0 or 95-90?
No, not way under. I'm just looking at the number and thinking I think it's going to be it'll be 44 points scored in the game, not 48.5.
Okay.
I think it's a touch high. Anyway, I like the Lions, maybe not quite as much as you guys do, but I like them, and I do really like them teased up.
The Bears are either going to lose this game and it will set them back, or they might be that team that wins 7 of its final 8 games or something like that. They reek of that team.
I hope not, because they have us in a couple of weeks.
Oh man, it's not going to be fun watching Justin Fields run past everybody. We'll tell you that much.
No, but the Jets have good tackling, so.
Not according to you last week when Josh Allen was running into the end zone.
In a couple of instances, they didn't tackle Allen effectively, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
How many early games are there?
A bunch.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, and we can actually get them all on the TVs because New Orleans at Pittsburgh was the prime candidate to go to the laptop or just not watch it all. I picked correctly last week. No Carolina Cincinnati on the TV, and I'm glad we didn't watch that. We got everything we need to know from the red zone from that one. The Steelers are.
I didn't know.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I was saying our laptop game was the Patriot game, so I feel like we felt like we made the right call.
Oh, no. It was fun watching Ellinger just do absolutely nothing because I had a bunch of Patriots.
Sack after sack after sack after sack.
So the Steelers are 2.5-point dogs at home in this game. 40.5 is the over-under. It's a short week for the Saints, who look terrible, against the Ravens. Against the Steelers coming off a bye, obviously they lost Claypool, but you get an off week to really ingrain Pickett into this offense and really come up with a new scheme specifically for him. And TJ Watt might be back this week. I like the Steelers plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, I don't understand the number. And I got it wrong on Sunday night because I didn't understand the number. I think Pittsburgh should be favored. I like Pittsburgh. I'm teasing the Steelers up too. I think, I'm a Pickett believer. I think he's got some real skill. Having that week off is huge. The Saints looked abysmal. Again, this on Sunday, they were never in the game last night. They were out of it pretty early, and it was clear they were never getting back in it. It was dreadful. Andy Dalton is not going now on the road on a short week in Pittsburgh and winning a game against them in the bye. The number is wrong. I mean, it's almost so wrong that you could understand taking New Orleans because it seems absolutely just bizarre to lay what is nearly a field goal with the Saints on the road. I can't justify it. Give me Pittsburgh, tease them out.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I don't see Watt coming back for this game. They've yet to even designate him to return, but I have seen some of those rumblings that you are seeing. It does feel like the line is so weird that to pick the Saints, you're almost going like just for the sake of trying to bet against a weird line.
I mean, let's not pretend like the Steelers are any good. They're fucking terrible, but so are the Saints.
Off a bye, off of what people watched last night.
Yeah, and the line didn't move after the Monday night game. It's been 2.5 the entire time.
Sorry, I'm not like an attack here. I'll take the Saints, but this game reeks. I have no real opinion on it. At some point, they got to play Winston, do they not?
I don't know. You sure? Just start Taysom Hill.
Like, can Lattimore get healthy for once?
I mean, Thomas is probably out for the year. Landry keeps the rumors on Landry every single week are, yeah, he's going to play. Then we get to the game, it's like, oh, no, he's not playing. So I assume he's out for the year at this point. Like, why even think that he's going to be there? So now you got two of Cust's favorite fantasy players of all time, Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith, to try to help out Chris Olave and Kamara. Like, it's tough treading out there. But, like, Pittsburgh's bad. I don't think we can overlook that. The reason that they are 2.5-point dogs at home is because they're fucking terrible, or at least have been. So that's why the line is how it is. At least New Orleans won some games. But yeah. Oh, midway point of the show. Fun times. That means it's a mini version of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
So I want to talk about Twitter and and Elon.
You want to talk about
Musk,
Twitter and Eli Manning, or Eli from There
Yeah.
Will Be Blood? Which one?
I drink your milkshake.
Don't
bully me, Patrick.
I am the third revelation.
I want to talk about Twitter and Musk because honestly, as an observer, it's hilarious to me. But the only thing that's annoying me is all the people saying, oh, well, now you can go ahead and buy your verification. I don't want to buy verification. I don't need a blue check mark. I'm not jealous of blue check marks. I don't need them. I don't crave that type of attention and that type of reassurance and credit to need to have a blue check mark on Twitter. I don't have one. I was denied. I'm pretty sure I applied and was denied. I'm trying to think how that happened. I can't remember now.
You were so jealous when Garion got his blue check mark.
Well, just, why did Garion get it, not me? It didn't make any sense. If anyone's going to get it, it should be me. It's like giving it to guys like Mullins, who's a nobody, and to Garion, who, Garion's a great guy, but, I have more followers than Garion. I
have more followers than you. Wouldn't that make me more deserving than you?
You could be verified anytime you wanted to be.
No.
You choose not to be verified. That's different. But, what he's doing with selling verification for $8 a piece and, trolling people on Twitter, he tweeted out today that Twitter's never had more users than it's had right now. A lot of people are saying that it was a $44 billion waste of money, but I don't know. I think this might actually really work out for him. The way I'm looking at it, he's brought Twitter back from being sort of a realm of irrelevancy that only a few people are going on, but it's not that popular. I think he's breathed a lot of air into Twitter. It's become a very fascinating and interesting place to be. Bezos wasted a lot more money on Thursday Night Football maybe than Elon wasted on Twitter. I don't know. That's a thesis I'm considering here.
Well, here's the issue. Now that you've cursed poor Elon, he's going to lose all of his money, and Twitter's going to go somehow explode from the source, and we'll never have it again. My revenue streams are down, but that's the whole key here. Is what are, besides this $8 a month thing that he wants to bring in, what are the revenue streams of Twitter? This has always been the big thing with Twitter. How do you actually make money off of it? At least there is a tangible way. When you kind of reference Thursday Night Football, yeah, the Thursday Night Football games have been bad. It's probably worth 5x whatever Bezos paid for those games to be on Amazon, because now people have to go buy Amazon in order to watch the games. Like, there's a very tangible way to make money off that. And once they have their Amazon Prime accounts, Jeff, then they can just start ordering more things off Amazon. Like, how do you even make money off Twitter?
I have no clue. Will have no issue if well, a couple things. I'll have no issue if like politics obsessed people leave Twitter and it's just left to us like
They're
sports.
not going anywhere.
Yeah, they'll be the last people hanging on.
But I'm just saying,
These
I don't
are
know.
like all the people who
care.
said they were leaving Twitter to go to Truth Social.
Twitter
weren't-
to me
they
is
weren't
still
going.
fabulous. It's still fabulous. I don't get caught up in a lot of that stuff. I would happily pay $8 if it means if what he says is true and that would eliminate bots and interacting with them. I would happily pay $100 a year.
Then who would you fight with?
I don't know. I don't need to fight with anybody.
But you fight with bots exclusively.
So that'd be great. That's exactly why I don't have your willpower. So I'd happily pay $100 to get rid of those fights. But I've noticed an influx in the sex bots are back.
Ooh, sex bots.
Yeah, yeah.
The gamble
Which
bots
are better than
egregious.
live bots.
Yeah.
Which are having
wh-
a sex bot flirt with you is way better.
Are
than
the
a
live bots?
bot.
Are the live bots more active though? That's the main question.
Yeah, no, Tim, I think we need your power rankings of these three bots. What's your favorite to least favorite? Sex bot, live bot, or those like weird gambling bots?
Fixed
that just,
game bot.
What's the other
Fixed
one?
game.
Yeah, fixed games. Yeah, these games are rigged. Give me money through Western Union so I can bet on them.
Those are all insufferable, except for the live bots, because I know how much Jeff loves to argue with them. So it makes me happy to see the live bots. They're not hurting. Live bots aren't hurting anybody. Live bots are just stupid.
No, the live bots coming on Twitter in the summer of 2022 to defend live golf is crazier to me than Ron Washington telling us in his late 60s he tried cocaine for the first time. Like, I don't understand. None of that makes any sense to me. You avoided this cesspool that is Twitter for so long, and then in the summer of 2022 you felt the need to join Twitter to talk golf. That's crazier than than a guy who played with Tim Raines telling me in his 60s was the first time after making it his whole life he finally had that urge to put cocaine up his nose in his late 60s or however old he was.
Maybe he was just poorly influenced by Josh Hamilton.
Yeah, maybe, but
Do we think that this is going to work for Musk?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be something big that happens, not involving Twitter, not involving Elon, and then everyone's just going to stop caring about it. Then Elon likes to be in the news here. Now he kind of controls some of the way that we see the news in a way. So, I don't know. I think he's just going to start doing outrageous things. Like, if he wants Twitter to succeed and make money, like, he's got to let Trump back, like, sooner rather than later.
Apparently, Trump has an announcement to make.
Is that tonight?
I think it's like
on the
week
14th.
today.
Oh,
Next-
yeah.
no, on the
No,
14th,
People are
next
surmising
Monday.
that he may be making his return to Twitter.
I thought that was the 14th. He was going to announce that he's running for president.
Yeah, that's probably
I saw
more
that
likely.
on Newsmax. So
Yeah.
there you go. I was looking.
I was
All right, so Jeff, I was
Bro.
looking. I was looking into this guy that I used to work with, who I hadn't heard from in ages. So I clicked on his name. Turns out he's a writer for Newsmax now. And that's how I heard that Trump is going to announce on the 14th.
Newsmax isn't like hardcore, right? Because they let Chris Cuomo do their primetime show now. I feel.
You seem to know a lot
Tim's
about
buddy.
Newsmax.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't get me started on the Cuomo's, Jeff.
But I was pro Elon buying Twitter. That didn't bother me at all. But I had some people like write me that, I'll be, me and my family will be forced into a single 1-bedroom apartment in Tel Aviv because of this. Take that what you will.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't know. Listen, I'll never drive a Tesla unless they're the only thing available to drive. And I certainly ain't ever going to take a leisure ride to space. but I have the
I would
utmost-
love to go to space.
I have the utmost
and I'd love to own a
respect
Tesla.
for the guy.
Did own
So
a
I have no
Tesla.
issues with him buying the platform.
Like, I think Teslas are really cool.
Oh man,
I'm pro Tesla.
So you're pro Elon, and this is going to be successful. Now you're pro Tesla. The poor guy's going to have like no money left here. By the
I'm
end of the week.
very pro.
But it
SpaceX.
is there not irony in the left now despising maybe the greatest environmentalist of our time? Like the guy made the electric car mainstream.
Yeah.
You would
But you see that
you would
he
have
doesn't
to
have all their values,
Yeah,
Jeff.
no,
Therefore,
you would
he's
have
the worst person on earth.
You would have to think that like the left, as you're talking about them, have any sense of irony to begin with.
No, none.
Like,
I'm enjoying. It's it's unhealthy to enjoy quote unquote liberal tears, but like to see them having like freakouts on Twitter as if Twitter's real life and as if like anything is happening other than like Musk is right now just sort of like loosening the reins a little bit because oh no, now we can't attack people who tweet things that we don't like constantly anymore and get them thrown off Twitter. This obviously is not a very good platform, and we need to create this thing called what I can't remember, dinosaur or something.
I think it's Mastodon.
Which is like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Is it just Truth Social for the left?
It
Can
could
I
be.
admit something?
Sure.
I
Oh, no.
have a Rumble account only because
What's Rumble?
the guy. I don't know. It's one of these like alt-right
Is
platforms.
when you were watching Newsmax? Did they advertise it so you signed up for it?
No, it's only because my favorite curator.
Jeff was reading about it on a 4chan.
I
thread
shouldn't
and
even.
thought,
If you're not going to let me say why I'm there, I never
I'll let you
should've
say
said
it. I'll
why
let
I'm
you say
there because that's just a bad look to be there.
That's where they post
But-
the Chargers press conferences. I get it.
I wish I'd be on any. The types of platform I would go to if they actually did that, I would go. There's not a platform that I wouldn't go on. I don't care. I'd even lie about like my statuses in life if it got me onto that platform. I have a Rumble account because my favorite curator of classic Stern bits, that Howard Stern bits that I like, got kicked off of YouTube and went over to Rumble, and you can do anything and avoid copyrights, I guess, over there. So that's why I have a Rumble account, but it's incredibly alt-right. But that's the only thing I'm on over there. I promise.
that and Patriotic Pepe.
Who?
Don't you remember Patriotic Pepe? He was the guy, the account that tweeted at Trump every time Trump tweeted. It was like, good job, boss.
And then that other account got started, the Tim Andercust one that would always tweet that at you every time you tweeted.
Oh, it was terrible. Just terrible.
That was just you.
But I have
tweeting
no
on
issue.
it.
Like people, the demise of Twitter. Sure,
Twitter's not going anywhere.
Like, sure, Twitter is great. Like, I don't care if all these people want to cry and complain, as long as that's where Schefter and Rappaport and Woj drop his bombs, and that's where we engage in like the sports, and like I don't care. They can turn that thing into whatever they want. People can go to and claim they're going to these other platforms. I don't think the people that I have great positive Twitter experiences with are going anywhere. So I'll be there, ride or die.
I would say less than 1% of people will quit Twitter, if that.
Of course, Twitter's not going anywhere.
No,
but it's
it'll be
been
exactly the
thoroughly
same.
enjoyable to see. Musk is one of the very few people in the culture who doesn't hew to completely conventional sort of leftist opinions. And so the fact that he's got his hands around one of the instruments of culture, Twitter, people on the left who aren't used to somebody who doesn't think all the same things they think, having some control over something in culture, they can't abide it.
But
It-
Twitter.
it-
Sorry, keep going.
yeah, like Twitter's not that huge, but like they love it. And they've been able to use it effectively as well. So it's just as enjoyable to see somebody like. It's not like Elon Musk is some arch conservative. He isn't. But the fact that he's not a leftist is enough to send some people into a tizzy that he might have some control over some lever of culture.
99% of people use Twitter for the most like basic function.
Of
like
course.
if there is a if they think an earthquake just happened where they live, they just use it to search and can get some instant information.
Oh my God.
Like they're not on it all day. They're not cultivating a feed like a lot of us.
Yeah, they're not up at 4 a.m. in a posting war.
Are you talking about me?
No, I'm not talking about you, but there are people that do that.
Okay, because I like to think at 4 a.m. I am sleeping.
No.
No, like most of the people that follow me on there have done it over the past like 10 years because they wake up on Sunday morning and want to ask me one start-sit question for fantasy football. Like, and they have like the 5 people they follow, they ask them the question, and that's all they use Twitter for. And that's more indicative of the average person who uses it rather than, like you said, people are just terminally online. But people who are terminally online, I mean, I think it does polarize you whichever way that you want to lean to begin with. But like, people are just unhealthy at some point.
It's extraordinarily unhealthy.
I agree, and that's why for me,
that's why you went to Rumble.
No.
Just imagining like an article, Jeff.
I agree.
Like, why am I wrong?
Also
Pat Mayo experience welcomes multiple alt-right guests. Show canceled. That's tomorrow's headline.
Sunday Night Live, including Rumble guest Jeff Feinberg.
Rumble Truth #1. It'll be Jeff. His new Twitter name will be Jeff Feinberg, American Flag.
I would have no issue paying for a premium service of Twitter.
No. We don't want that. Listen, if you want to pay the $8 per month to get verified, like what?
No, I don't care about verified.
Bots. But listen, I don't want people to have to pay to Twitter for a premium experience in order to use it, because part of the fun of Twitter, yeah, you're gonna have the shitty parts where you have the bots and the fake news and people just propagating just the worst of the world, but it's also the way to interact with everyone. Like, don't make this a classist thing. Like, some people can't afford $8 a month. Some people don't want to spend $8 a month, but I still want to interact with those people and hear from those people at the same time.
Agreed. I just mean I would pay for like in the same way I pay for YouTube Premium. I don't know. It gets rid of ads. I like it more. I had it a bit, and now it's something that I don't cancel because I don't mind it and I like it, and I don't need to see these annoying promoted tweets either. Like, I don't know. I would have no issue paying into the system. That doesn't mean everyone else has to. And I'm certainly not paying for a check mark. I don't care to pay for a check mark. I couldn't just make a check mark appear by following a few steps or making a contact or two, probably like Pat could. But I have had people instruct me how to go about doing it. And the first step, I don't even want to go there. Like, they're like, well, for starters,
you got to give
you
your
should
like
take your picture.
Yeah, you got to get your driver's
and make it a
license
real one.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
And I'm like, no, like, I don't even care.
Yeah,
enough
I think
to
maybe
change
that's what happened to me and why I didn't get verified. I think I was trying to go through the process, and like I wouldn't give up a driver's license photo or something, and maybe that's why I got declined.
No, I never even started the process. It was already like, yeah.
Or maybe I did. Yeah, maybe I declined I could have even declined myself. Maybe that's how it happened.
And it wasn't even an official process. It was just somebody who's like very in the wherewithal of this saying like, hey, listen, if you're interested in actually getting verified, because that could help you, these are the steps you should take. And I didn't even like care to go through with step 1 because it meant putting a real picture up. And I'm like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah.
People are going to be so mad about this conversation. You watch.
Why is that?
You two, not me. People love me.
I don't think so. I think the demographics of this show will be relatively sympathetic to what
they'll be mad that I would be willing to pay $8, or they'd be mad that I don't hate Elon Musk. What will they be mad at?
I don't know this, but I would say the average leaning of the people who watch this show are right down the middle. There's a very centrist group of people that watch this show.
I would tend to agree, but you have to remember there are very few people who are actual centrists.
No, but I mean, that means a predominance of the people who watch this are either center left or center right. And that means that they aren't going berserk because Elon Musk owns Twitter.
But I think the people that watch this show also use Twitter for the same reasons we all like Twitter, and that it's an amazing sports resource. And even if politics wants to go somewhere else, sports guy's not fantasy guy. We're not leaving Twitter. No chance in hell.
Yeah, like
And
I've toyed around with some of the other platforms and how to like communicate my information. And like, look,
What's Rumble like?
that I don't know, but like I've tried, like I've tested on Instagram and I've tested on TikTok a little bit, and just I don't find that. And people will say that the worst click through rate that you're ever gonna get is on Twitter, but maybe it's just because that's where people follow me, and have been following me there for over a decade. And that's where they know to get the information from me. I think that's the hardest part of all of this. If you're Schefter, if you're Woj, kind of thing, and there is a mass exodus, which I don't believe is gonna happen. Like, where do they go to? Would be my question.
I remember being forced on Twitter by my boss at the Score in like 2008, and I was forced on. I didn't want to do it. So I don't know. I'm not good at those questions because I don't like adapting to anything. In technology, I'm usually, like ahead of Tim, but I'm on the later adopter scale. So I wouldn't even know. I'm turned off by any change.
Does everyone just ironically go back to Facebook?
That would suck for me.
Yeah, it would not be fun. Although my great aunts would always see all the content that I would post. So that's it. You can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/thepme. I don't know who monitors that account, but someone posts all my stuff. So it's really nice to see.
We can't find your work on sports or gambling?
You used to be able to find my that's what I used to have to do when I first started. Would go into gambling on Twitter or on Facebook, in that group and just post in there. That's how I got my first following.
They banned you.
I mean, well, that's what you get for posting every single thing that you do. It worked, though.
But, like, do you guys believe the guy spent $44 billion in a troll?
Yes.
That's the definition of having FU money, right?
That's so much more than FU money.
Yeah, it's a risk, but you know what? Musk is a genius when it comes to the markets, and I don't see him failing.
Is he more of a genius than Robert Saleh, as you proclaimed, who was also a genius on Sunday?
When it comes to what he's doing, Robert Saleh is a genius.
Do you also
think master motivator, and he's a fantastic defensive coordinator.
Do you also think that Jimmy Witchard is a genius?
At Smash'ems.
All right.
What was your Cust Corner thing even anyway?
This? Twitter?
Yeah, I had to talk about it. It's been on my mind.
We just talked about it.
And I don't know what these bleeding
minutes.
hearts who actually benefit from Twitter. And I feel like, as Paul, I want to say, pointed out, like your Twitter is a source of people interacting with you and buying your products and hitting your link. Like, I don't know why these people are so uptight about $8 a month.
I don't think it's the $8 a month that they're uptight about. I think it is, and I feel like they've given out too many of these blue check marks anyway. I think the issue that people have is that random people are just going to be verified now. So, I mean, regardless of how you think...
only we super elite should be allowed to be verified.
No, see, I highly disagree with that, because if I am going to, let's say, to try to get news on something, if random guy, Jeff, as you mentioned, logs onto Twitter to find out information about an earthquake, if I see that someone is talking about the earthquake, that is like a reporter somewhere or at some news agency, and they have the blue check mark, I am far more prone to believe that person about whatever information in the news is happening, rather than some random who could be just talking about whatever, and now that they're verified, now I have to go through an extra step to figure out if this is real or fake.
No, I agree. I don't like that, like, normal people can just get verified for paying the $8. And my interest in the $8 isn't even about the blue check mark. Because I could care less about that.
Like how long is it going to take? You know how people still, even though the blue check mark isn't there, get fucked over by like fake Adam Schefter accounts or Woj accounts with trades, and like they're not even looking for the blue check mark.
Yeah, that is a risk.
Imagine if you can verify yourself, change your name, tweet that out, and they're like, oh, how would they know?
Yeah, but Elon did come out, like, I believe it was like yesterday, and said that if you have that blue check mark, like, you lose it forever.
Start a new account.
If you impersonate, yeah, I know, but if you have an account with, say, like 45,000 followers, you're going to lose that account if you impersonate with a blue check mark.
Yeah, but why would you ever do it from your 45,000 person account? Why wouldn't you do it from your 10 person?
Because nobody will actually believe that
unless
they're a complete
do it
incel.
Now from 0 follower accounts.
No,
people are like
the key
Tim.
is
They see
having
headlines and they move on.
Lots of followers.
I think Paul's on to something. And plus, I mean, other people would say just because someone from the New York Times reports it doesn't make it true.
No,
Like
and look,
they're in the business of like people like the New York Times, the Washington Post, or wherever. Like maybe their reporters aren't always getting it right either. So like that doesn't mean that I need to take it as gospel just because it came from a verified source.
So what you're saying, and are you talking about like reporters or opinionists on this?
Everything. I'm saying there are people who are already, their default is a deep suspicion of what a mainstream journalist might report. So they would say to you, "Well, we already have no trust."
Yeah, they can say whatever
they.
they want. They're being kind of crazy about this. Of course, people are going to get things wrong. But if I want to know about, I guess the earthquake's a perfect example. Like, what's what is KTLA the main news station in LA?
I think so.
Is that the one? I would probably want, like, if the chopper guy is out there and he's in the thing, and I know that it's him and he's verified. Well, if he's out in the air and he can see what's going on, I would tend to believe that guy, and I'd want to make sure that was him before just believing anything that's going on.
Well, it depends. What does he think penguins are real? But anyway, this is the way some people think, right? It's like
it sounds like the way that you think. Is this the way that you think?
No, it's not. But there is a default distrust amongst a lot of people of the media to begin with. So they don't see this idea of various people in the media losing or other people gaining the same stature as people in the media who might be dishonest as any difference in reality to what we already have.
And I would push back on that. I don't think that that's true.
I think I would be on your side as well, but I'm just giving them giving that case up there.
You're giving like a conspiracy theory case.
Not quite a conspiracy case, but just that they're already biased in a particular direction. So there's already a suspicion.
All right. Let's get to the late set of games. We have, oh my God, India. We have to watch this one. Oh man.
At least there's enough football games this week that Jeff won't sit courtside at a basketball game. He'll actually watch the NFL this week.
Colts at Vegas. Vegas is favored by 6.5. 42.5 is the over/under. Have I laid out for you my case that Jim Irsay is a genius yet?
I mean, no, I think I know you well enough to know what your argument's going to be, but why don't you tell the peoples?
Well, Jeff, do you have any idea what my argument's going to be?
I could probably guess it, and I don't think it's as crazy as people are making it out to be. These interim coaches never get the real job. Look at what Rich Bisaccia did last year in Oakland. He couldn't even get the real job. Okay?
So hold on. What do you think my argument's going to be?
That it's just someone he trusts.
Okay.
And it's
Tim, what do you
someone you trust?
Tim, what do you think?
This is great. This is great energy and attention for the team, and also a tryout for Saturday. Who he'd actually like to be his head coach
and Tank.
See if he can actually do it.
Jeff hit it. This is fucking Sam Hanke with the 76ers. Jim Irsay knows Indy sucks. Just like we've been saying all year, Indy sucks. But here's the problem. They had too many decent pieces, and then they kept winning games. If you look back at what they've done the past few years, they brought in Matt Ryan, they brought in Wentz, they brought in Rivers, and what's got them? Fucking nothing. Mediocrity, the worst spot you could actually be, these 14th, 17th overall pick. Hey, they even made the playoffs once. Great, they lost in the first round. Thanks for coming out. With Ryan, in that division, there was a chance that they were going to go 6-10-1 or 7-9-1 and whatever and have the 10th pick, the 11th pick. No. We need to get Matt Ryan out for a guy. I don't know how they found a guy who was fucking 10 times worse than Matt Ryan, but they did. And now he's starting at quarterback. If they actually wanted to win games, they would be starting Nick Foles if Matt Ryan is hurt. But no. They're not going to do that. Jonathan Taylor keeps popping in and out of the injury report now. Let's not play him. Frank Wright, by all objective measure, he's a pretty good coach. Probably doesn't deserve to be fired. We need to get rid of him. He might be a bit too competent. Throw the OC out with him, too. Let's bring in this guy who's never coached before. They're trying to tank because they've had these shit veteran quarterbacks. That's all they can get for the past 3 years. It's gotten them nowhere. They need to roll the dice and get a stud at quarterback. There's a quarterback-heavy class at the top. If you can't guarantee yourself a top 5 pick, you're not going to get one of them, and I think that Irsay knows this is a way to do that.
I agree. And even getting 6 or 7, maybe you could trade into 4. It's a lot easier than from 14. And that would have been my follow-up point to it's multi-layered. There's 100% the realization there that their now way to get the quarterback is through the draft and not play the game they've been playing. But also these interim coaches, they're just lame duck. They're just lame duck. They're temporary. And let me put a guy in there that I absolutely trust for whatever reason. And maybe it's fair. Irsay and him have a relationship where he just trusts him. Bring him right into the center of my organization. And I trust him, and he'll give me all the feedback I need in terms of going forward. Instead of somebody who's already there, and as Irsay put it, which kind of seems silly, is afraid to coach because of analytics in some weird way. But I totally agree, and I'll follow it up by acknowledging that the current structure of picking coaches seems 50-50 at best, so I don't have any issues with this wild card approach. The Chargers have a head coach who's got minimal NFL experience in the big picture compared to other people who have gotten head coaching jobs before, and he's unprepared to start every single football game, but he likes going for it on fourth downs. So the gigabytes love him.
This is great news. I see Twitter absolutely killing all the people I follow, just absolutely killing this. But they're the same people, Tim, who are like, I could be an offensive coordinator, no problem.
The same people calling Jim Irsay an idiot and a loser and a dumbass, and maybe that's all fair. But it's the same blue check marks who wanted to put this guy on their shoulders a month ago for calling out Dan Snyder. So he's a savant then.
Didn't Dan Snyder do this with Jim Zorn? Was Jim Zorn ever a coach anywhere?
He was the coach of Washington for 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, when he was hired. Before that.
No, apparently it's the first time this happened in the 60s, and Jim Zorn, I haven't seen.
Jim Zorn was hired as a head coach, not as an interim. Jim Zorn came in as a head coach to start a season. I think in 2008 was his first year.
Did he have any coaching experience before that? I assume he did.
I don't know.
He had never had. He was an offense. I don't know what an offensive assistant means, but he had never had anything more prominent than a quarterback. He was the Seahawks quarterbacks coach before he was the Washington head coach.
Okay.
And oh my
That's still
God,
a lot more experience than Saturday.
What if
I don't know.
It
It seems Mickey Mouse. It seems immature. It doesn't seem like the sort of thing a pro team should be doing. It's kind of laughable. I love the Raiders here. Pretty much the Raiders
said on TV last week that the Raiders, were a laughing stock, which is probably fair.
Raiders at any number, pretty much.
Colts. I'll take the points.
I'm leaning Colts as well.
But that doesn't make sense. That doesn't follow your strategy.
I mean, they can still lose the game, but
I guess.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying that what he's doing is correct and is not going to work, but I don't know. Like, why is it only 6.5? Why hasn't the line moved?
I don't know.
Doesn't that strike you as odd?
Well, just you can't make the Raiders too big of a favorite.
Well, looking at DVOA for the past month, like Houston's the worst team in football. Vegas is the second worst team in football.
I know, but Ettinger, come on.
All right, I'm going to take Vegas. I'm not.
What if Saturday's actually good?
Yeah, I mean there is that possibility.
We're teasing Vegas as well.
If Saturday is,
you know what?
good,
I'm switching to Indy.
If Saturday is actually good, I will be really waving the flag this winter to let Phillip Rivers coach the Chargers.
Why don't instead of the Chargers having a head coach, what if they just opened up their play calling to like a text poll, like American Idol, run or pass, text, and make. There's a way you could generate a bunch of money.
Yeah, I'd rather call the plays.
So they have so few fans. If you vote on these things, your vote may be the deciding one each time.
Yeah, but I don't want sabotage voting from you play a preeminent fan base and then sabotage vote. A halfback draw, 3rd and 13. Halfback draw.
Yeah, let's get Horvath in the game. Need that guy back. First touchdown Sunday night, Horvath.
That Raiders Colts game certainly has developed a bit of a storyline, though. That would be a real embarrassing loss for the Raiders, I tell you.
It's been a bad year for the Raiders. Yeah, I'll take Indy plus 6.5 with Jeff. Dallas and Green Bay. The Packers are 3-point underdogs at home in this spot.
5 point.
What did I say?
Three. They're 5 point.
Sorry, I was looking at the next game down the list. 5-point underdog at home. 43 is the over-under. How the hell can you take the Packers in this game? This line doesn't feel wide enough.
I think Cameron will pick the Packers this week on your show.
I think he will too. And hey, we went 8-1 on the best bet show.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying it's a bad bet, but I don't have the intestinal fortitude to pick Green Bay, even though I think Green Bay's probably the right side.
I don't think so. I think the spread should be like 9.5, 10. Like the Packers are horrible. Dallas is one of the 4 best teams in football coming off a bye week. The Packers couldn't put any fucking points up against the Lions. The hell are they going to do against the Cowboys?
Yeah, I'll take Dallas too. I know, but like it seems like finally people have given up on Green Bay, and this is the week that they like snap back to reality and play a good game and maybe even win. I don't know. I'll take Dallas though. I don't love it.
I hear exactly what you're saying. I see it too. I refuse to fall for that trap. Jeff?
I'm going to fall for it, but it's not going to be with real money. I will take the Packers in this awkward 5 points at home.
If you were the bookmaker and you didn't see this 5-point spread, what would you have made this game?
6.5, 7, I guess.
Yeah. Something weird.
Yeah, probably 7 or 7.5.
I think that there's a weirdly an anti-Cowboy sentiment that they're not as good as maybe they actually are. Like, does everyone see them as a top 5 team, or like, oh, the Cowboys, like yada yada yada, yeah, maybe they're a top 10 team? Like, no, like they're an elite team in football right now. Like when you go through Philly, Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas is probably the next one up. Or the Jets, sorry, Tim.
Yeah, you know what? When you put it that way, it's hard to disagree. And then it makes you kind of want to change your pick because the Packers would certainly be near the lower tier. And this spread seems like there's a lot of value. If you look at other spreads of teams ranked where we probably would rank the Cowboys versus teams ranked like 23rd, 24th, 27th or something, we would probably be willing to lay more points. I don't know. This one just seems super fishy. And I found it really weird that Fox was advertising this game during the World Series before even over this past Sunday's games, if that makes any sense. Caught me off guard all World Series.
This is about as big of a game as you can get, unless it was Pittsburgh at Dallas.
Yeah, or if like Brady's playing really well, Tampa at Dallas would have that type of.
Sure, yeah. Like it's either like you have your 3 most historic franchises essentially in the NFL. So if 2 of those teams are playing each other, it's just a gigantic game no matter what. Or Dallas being the biggest, you get Dallas, or even Green Bay, I would say too. Green Bay, especially with Rodgers at quarterback, one of those 2 teams playing one of the top 3 players in the sport, be it Brady, Mahomes. I don't know who would be number 3 in that right now. Do you think? Because it's probably
Dallas. Philly would be huge.
I mean, they're going to play
Burrow or
twice
Josh Allen. You asked me who the third.
Yeah. Dallas Buffalo would be huge.
You know, I don't think it is Burrow or Josh Allen yet in terms of notoriety, because like Brady doesn't deserve to be in there at the moment, but he still is in there at the moment. I don't know. I don't know if it would be Allen or Burrow. It's definitely not Burrow. It might be Allen.
Yeah, I think
Burrow has the LSU, the posing with the cigar. He's already been to a Super Bowl. I wouldn't underrate a lot of that.
No, I'm not saying he's disqualified from the conversation, but I would doubt he's a big of a draw.
And Allen's been put on a pedestal. All America wanted was Allen to get the ball in overtime. Like that. So to me, they'd have to be the next ones up.
I mean, the answer is Aaron Rodgers, but he's obviously in this game and plays on the Packers, so he's kind of disqualified from it. All right, Arizona at the Rams. Rams favored by 3 at home. 43.5 is the over-under. I have no idea in this game. I hate these
How do you
teams.
pick this game? How do you pick this game?
I'll pick Arizona just because I'm going to take the points, and I don't think the Rams are in a position to be laying these points, and I don't know if they know how to win with their current construct of injuries up front.
All right, I don't want to think about it anymore. I'll go with Jeff. Give me Arizona for the reasons he said.
Have the Rams dominated this, like at one-sided this one?
Yes, and when they played the playoffs,
yeah,
the worst playoff game I've ever seen a quarterback play, and I watched Jake Delhomme play in the playoffs.
Jake Delhomme made the Super Bowl.
He did, but he had like the worst playoff performance any QB's had,
The
other
Rams-
than what Kyler did.
The Rams shouldn't be favorite. Like unless you think Arizona is a bottom 10 team in the league, the Rams should not be laying 4 points.
The numbers would suggest that Arizona is a bottom 10 team in the league.
Ah, crap. I don't know why I think Arizona is far more competent than a lot of the numbers. Am I still allowed to say take week 1 out of the Arizona stats?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the last month worth of stats. In
They
fairness,
got lucky versus the Saints in those pick sixes, but
Arizona has been the 3rd worst team in football. The Rams have been the 6th worst team in football.
So 2 trash teams, give me 3 points.
Yeah, I think that logic works, but I'm just gonna. McVay seems to own Kingsbury, so I'll go with the Rams.
They're people. I was looking, I couldn't find anywhere just to see the market on next coach to be fired.
Kingsbury?
He is the favorite, and the only thing I could find, Pat, was the market before Frank Wright, like a stale picture. And Frank Wright was second. Kingsbury was first. Kingsbury was plus 150. Wright was like plus 180. So there are people that think an ugly loss or two that let's just say there's a lot of thought that when the Chargers and Cardinals play in 3 weeks, Cliff might not be around anymore.
Okay. Sunday Night Football. First of back-to-back Sunday Night Football appearances for your Los Angeles Chargers. They are at the San Francisco 49ers, 7-point dogs, coming off of a bye week. For the 49ers, they'll get Debo back for this game, which is probably good news for them and the receiving core. McCaffrey looks to be ingrained in the offense. Elijah Mitchell might be back for the 49ers as well. And it doesn't look like anyone who's had it for the Chargers last week is coming back anytime soon, Jeff.
I mean, we're a special breed, Pat, that we could have the bye week and it actually gets us more injured. Keenan re-aggravate something. My least favorite Charger, who if he fell down a flight of stairs, I'd probably snicker. Jerry Tillery gets hurt lifting weights. I don't even consider that a negative. Donald Parham, back from the concussion, re-aggravates the hamstring injury that he hurt in training camp. So he showed up for 1/2 this year and had like 70 yards on 3 catches. I don't know what to make of this. The 49ers are a significantly better team than the Chargers. It's a lot of points. Maybe a good quarterback can get you a back door. I don't know. You guys tell me. The Chargers play the Chiefs and the 49ers. If they can win one of those 2 games, maybe I'll flip a switch and be excited. But I just want to use this time to talk about 2 things. Broken record, but we were down 10-0 versus Atlanta out of the gate. Again, coach, like, do something. Apparently, my concerns are being brought to the podium on press conferences that aren't being uploaded. So I'll have to read about them later in my latest from our athletic beat reporter, who, when he's not talking about the Chargers, is making his own in-house techno music and doing taco reviews. But I can't insult him because I actually need him. So, like, it'd be bad. I can't say mean things. I don't know how we start games. I don't know how that's possible. Jeff Saturday would not start games as bad as we start games. Like, that's just the truth of it. I don't know how that happens. I'm no expert, but how a team starts a game to me is 150% indicative of the coaches having them prepared or not prepared to start a game. That is my biggest indictment on this coach and this current coaching staff. Also, if you remember from last week's show, I said I need them to beat Atlanta so bad because my over under 10 wins, which is for way more money than it should be. And that doesn't even consider the fact that I bet way more money on the Chargers every single Sunday than I should. And when you consider I have this over 10 wins, it's stupid. What happened? You know how unimpressive the Chargers win was last week, Pat? Not only did it stay stale on the 9.5 wins, the juice went the other way. So now I'm so screwed. Like, I thought beating Atlanta would get it from 9.5 to 10, and I could maybe make a bet that I could, even laying a little juice could get out of something. or a good portion of it? No, I'm still dead. And their next 2 games are against San Francisco and Kansas City. And we are dead. The only ray of light is somehow, maybe, they can split these games and in a month from now be healthy and have a competent record, and maybe I can get excited again. But I am pretty much thinking the only way we have a chance to cover is with a backdoor. We should get annihilated.
So you're taking the Niners?
No, you're not putting that on a piece of paper beside my name, but we should get annihilated.
Okay. I'll take the Chargers, Tim.
I'll take San Francisco. Chargers healthy, I would be okay with, but Niners coming off a bye with Debo. I don't think the Chargers have answers right now for Samuel and McCaffrey, and it just I don't know, and Kittle. It's gonna be tough, and I just think that they're gonna have to score for the Chargers to cover. Chargers are probably gonna have to score 27 to 30 points because I think the Niners are gonna score a ton of points in this game, and we'll see.
How are we feeling about the Niners' defense? Like, do we expect them to have everyone back? Are they still banged up? Because they've been abysmal.
Well, not everyone, because like Mosley's never coming back.
Dude,
They've been abysmal for a month.
It's a war crime what's going to go down on Sunday. If Trey Pipkins, our right tackle, can't go, and Storm Norton is going to line up against Joey Bosa.
It is a Bosa Bowl, isn't it?
Or Nick Bosa. That's a war crime. No, Justin Herbert should probably not play if Storm Norton is playing. Like, if I was Justin Herbert's agent, if I was Justin Herbert's family, I'd go full Arch Manning and not demand a trade, but say, you are not playing my son with Storm Norton at right tackle, who gives up like a 62% pressure rate against a Bosa. What are you laughing at?
Just the way you kept calling it a war crime. I feel for you.
I don't know if their defense is healthy, but if Bosa's playing Norton, we're dead. We are dead. We are dead. I don't know. I don't know. Our blood dump offense, you think we could flirt with 30 points against this team?
I think you can score 24, and I think that's good enough to cover. And just in these primetime games, grabbing the points has just been the move.
Yeah. It was a great performance by Brampton's very own Josh Palmer. But I don't know. Against a team like San Francisco, a true Super Bowl contender, you need your complement of weapons. Like, you need to stretch them out. You got to be 4 or 5 weapons deep. And maybe we could have done that had the Chargers been healthy, but they're not. And I don't know if you guys saw this graph put out by some injury calculator. The Chargers not only are dead last in the league with this injuries or the importance of their injuries, but the gap between them and the second last is the biggest gap from one team to another on the entire list. We are there's no, I don't know that I'll ever get excited about this team again.
Oh, don't say that.
No, I truly believe I always didn't like
I've been there.
in.
I felt that way before, but then I can turn it around.
I didn't.
I felt that way last week.
I didn't think. I just thought too much was being made of the past, but it's all real. Like everything you joked about, Pat, even in your breakdown of the game. Like, it's going to be the stupidest game with the stupidest ending. Look at what happened. Like, how is that possible? So everything is true. And then for Coach to get upset on Sunday when asked about the past, he got real mad. And like that too much of the NFL fan base, Charger fans, NFL media live in the past when it comes to the Chargers. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What do you mean live in the past? By living in the past, are you talking about 14 minutes ago when we're on the 19-yard line about to kick a game-winning kick and we fumble? And we're not allowed to correlate that to the past? That's all we know is like insanity. So don't tell me what I'm allowed to take into account as the shit keeps happening over and over and over again. Johnny Knoxville looking motherfucker. Now, here's the bright spot, friends. It's impossible. It's improbable. There's about a less than 1% chance of happening. If the Chargers actually somehow come out of these next two games versus the 49ers and the Chiefs, and I'm not expecting them to even win one, let alone two. But if somehow this storm ends and they're 7-3, we should be getting MVP and Coach of the Year considerations. Even though I want the guy fired or don't think he's up to the job. I do not. But if they somehow win these games, then I don't know. He should win Coach of the Year. But they're not going to.
So they have a 30% chance to win this week at plus. They're plus 245 this week. What will they be next week, do you think? What do you think the spread in the Kansas City game is?
Chiefs by 6.
Oh, yeah, that's it too. Like, the whole world's going to feel like they're an expert on my shitty fucking team after having to watch them for Super Bowl contenders on 2 straight Sunday nights. You think that's a fun Twitter to live on?
At least you
The
get to
whole
watch your
world?
team on prime time. They refuse to put my team on.
When the whole world thinks they're now like an expert on my team because they just watched them play 2 phenomenal teams on back-to-back Sunday nights, and it's not over. It is not over for us. We have the Colts in December on Monday night. That can't move. And we play the Rams on Sunday night on New Year's Day, which...
That's the game where you're flexed out. Seattle and the Jets are.
No,
going.
I don't think that's going to be flexed.
Yeah, it is. That's not going to be a good game.
No, but is that a real Sunday or is that like a different day?
No, January 1st is a Sunday.
Oh, okay. Then then you're right. It could be flexed. I had it in my brain that it was like a
Christmas Day is Sunday, so
standalone like holiday game, which because of the logistics of that meant they wouldn't want to flex.
You're right, but no, January 1st is a Sunday.
Then yeah, if it's a true Sunday with a real schedule, then sure, that game is in play to be flexed. But we're gonna go down in flames, and the whole world is gonna get to watch it. So you think I'm looking forward to the second half of this season? No, I'm not.
Per the money lines, if we're going to say it's plus 250 and plus 225 for the wins the next 2 weeks, they do have a 9% chance of winning both those games. Not a 1% chance.
You know, it's hard to insult or say anything bad about Austin Eckler. Like, he's truly one of the few ticking engines on this team. And to think if that touchdown actually held with his power squatting, that would have been phenomenal. But can I give the guy a tip? Like, maybe try not doing every public podcast on the planet. Like, maybe just say no to doing.
Jeff, I have him lined up for later in the week.
Do you really?
Yeah. So you might want to. Oh no, go ahead. Kill my interview. Thanks.
No, here's the thing, Pat. On the if you run a podcast, if you can't get Austin Eckler to say yes to your podcast must be so pathetic, so shit, must have so few viewers. Because he'll do a podcast with like 6 likes. He'll do he'll literally do anything. Like, just take a break, man. Is he really on the show this week?
Yeah, I was going to tell you after. I wanted you to come on with me. But I don't know if I can do that now.
And he's really up front of come on.
No, I don't think you're allowed to be on now.
No, I mean, I would say to him, listen, you are on a tier that is compared to the levels of tiers of podcasts he goes on, you are like the upper echelon.
You're not gonna get back on the show by sweet talking me there, pal.
No, I don't know if this is a real. I would, because he does every podcast. So if he's coming on yours, that would actually be one of the biggest podcasts he's ever done.
He is not coming on the show anymore because you.
Do you not agree though?
I don't know. I don't fucking pay attention to what he does. I saw him.
I don't know what Eckler is up to.
I know that him and Matt Harmon do a show every week that I watch. That's pretty good. That's the extent of my Austin Eckler podcast that I get.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping that I'm hoping being so negative means something positive will happen. Because whenever I'm
Well,
really
it
positive,
worked for
the
Tim.
worst things happen.
You saw how well it worked for Tim. Maybe it can happen to you too.
I want to go to the at Arizona or at Vegas game, but they have to win one of these next two.
Okay. Well, they have a 30% chance of winning this week, per the probabilities of the money line, at least.
We're going to get embarrassed back-to-back weeks on Sunday Night Football, and I've got to answer for that? It's bullshit.
Well, I mean, maybe if you weren't a part of the team, it wouldn't be that big of a problem.
As part of the media group for the Chargers, your job is to act as a heat shield for the franchise and to take those tough questions.
Yeah, I should play into that more, but I should spin things more positive.
Well, I mean, if you just paid the $8 and got yourself verified, you could pass yourself off as a beat reporter.
Yeah.
Or a member of the front office. Who even knows at this point? Just say whatever you want. Washington at Philadelphia, Monday Night Football. Make this one quick. I'm taking Washington plus 11. It's big spreads, primetime games. Give me the big spreads.
Same here. Big spread in division. Washington's not playing that badly. That spread is not too far off from the Houston line when Houston's a lot worse, even though it was in Houston. Yeah, wait, Commanders for me.
Yeah, Washington, second best run defense in football. Obviously, Philly likes to run the ball a ton. Not that they can't go over the top because their favorite play is, let's throw to A.J. Brown in double coverage, and then no one will ever lay a finger on him, and he'll catch it every time. Now, if that could be the game plan, that could work, and they scored 500 points. But if Washington can shut down the running game, I think they'll be able to keep this within 11, Jeff.
Yeah, honestly, this seems like I could be such a degen on Monday and take the Skins. Oh, wow.
Austin Eckler just texted me again. He said he's definitely not coming on now.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, saying
That's
the
not
Skins
true.
probably isn't as bad as, like, saying the color before it. So you did all
I
right.
guess.
Just call,
Taking the Commanders.
just call them
plus-
like the condoms like Cam does.
But I could easily see myself playing a teaser with both sides of this game.
Oh,
Teasing the
a
Feinberg.
A Feinberg teaser. Okay.
Yeah, no, this isn't a true Feinberg because those aren't teased plays, but I would tease Washington to like the 17 and above and tease Philly to under 5. I'll make that bet on Monday.
Well, for the purposes of this show, which side of the 11 are you taking?
I'll take Washington because, as we've kind of discussed, it seems like a lot of points in prime time. Although one of these primetime games are going to be just a true, absolute rout. Hope we're not stepping in front of the wrong one.
Happens. I lose enough games over the course of the season. If I'm on Washington and Washington loses by 40, it's just like losing by 12. Doesn't really bother me that much. Super locks. We continue to run the table. Jeff, you've hit 7 in a row. Where are you going?
Oh, jeez. I don't like leading off here.
All right. Well, Tim, I have it down between Cleveland and Dallas are the two leans I have, and Seattle, realistically, but I'm staying away from Munich. I think those are going to be my 3 gold, silver, bronze. I got to figure out which one's the gold because I think I like them equally. It's just that the Dallas game feels like a real trap. So that's making me pensive, but that is the game that I have like the furthest off of what I would make the spread for it.
It's interesting. None of those 3 are my pick. My pick is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh?
Plus 2.5 at home.
All right. Jeff?
Of the ones you gave, you should probably take you like the Lions, right?
Yeah, I like the Lions, but I feel like we're in this moment in time. I'm getting a bad line.
Okay. I thought.
So I don't want to put my 7 in a row.
Well, why don't you just ask for an extra half point? I hear sometimes you get it if you ask on the show.
Can I get the Lions to 3?
Can you find the line? We always ask Cam if we can find the line anywhere. And then he says yes, and we go and look, and we verify.
Well, you can find the 3.
You can?
But I don't know
what's it juiced to?
Minus 120.
Nah, that's too much. Sorry.
Okay, that's fair. damn, I got cocky about my super lock streak, and now we're here.
I'm taking the Browns plus 3.5.
Yeah. Dallas is a better pick than that, I think.
Good to know. It's positive news for me.
Yeah.
This is, I'm putting it all on the line here. Give me the Texans.
Oh,
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh,
all right. Yeah, if you're going to go down, might as well go down in style, huh?
Oh, what a
oh man. What a
I'm
pick.
I'm really gonna regret overreacting to that half point in Detroit.
Yeah, when they win by like 2 touchdowns or something like that. Tim, can you recap your free money 6-point teaser, please?
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the teaser is Seattle to 8.5, Kansas City to -3.5, Detroit to 8.5, Pittsburgh to 8.5, and the Raiders to -0.5 point. Bet the farm, win 4 farms.
That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Remember to sub to the Hammer HQ on YouTube and go to the Forward Progress channel where you can find the Back to the Future show with myself, Jeff, and Tim Cust.
Tim and Cust.
That's not my name.
Pretty sure it is. Why
Pretty sure it isn't.
So when you get yourself verified and then you tell people that's not your name, then you're just being one of those people that lies to the people.
You've lost it.
I'm pretty sure that the Tim Andercust account is going to get verified to prove it's
No, it's
really
not.
you.
Don't you dare.
I mean, it's not me who does it. It's your account. It's you.
Don't you dare.
Hey.
You know it's not me because I don't know how to spend money on the internet.
Yeah, but how do I know you didn't get your brother to do it for you like you do with Amazon?
All right.
We can't know that, can we?
No, well, I suppose you can't.
All right, smash a like for the episode, sub to the newsletter, play in the Listeners League, and run thesims.com/Mayo will get you 10% off. So, I don't know, do it. All right, thanks for that. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!